What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
4 Ag. Chapter 76 Love and Hate in the Small Garden. A gloomy voice sounded in the jungle. Is this the group of guys? It seems like they all have no brains. Mr. 5 reminded with a hint of nervousness. Third brother. Don't underestimate them. There is also a guy with strange eyes among them. His eyes can use hypnosis, which is completely different from Ms. Goldenweek's ability. Mr. 3 glanced at the two idiot colleagues next to him with disdain. I am different from you. That's all. For the sake of Ms. Goldenweek, I will save your lives. Mr. 5 and Ms. Valentine both looked at the little lowly eating senbei, their faces full of emotion. Mr. 3 slowly took out two yellowed reward orders from his pocket. They were clearly written on them. Blue Ogre Dongli, and Red Ogre Brochi, each with a reward of 100 million. Bailey. Help me catch these two giants, it will be enough for you to make up for your mistakes. I will write a report to the boss. Mr. 3 said. Yes, third brother. Although Mr. 5 and Ms. wanted to kill Kang on Valentine's Day, they had to bow their heads under the roof. Mr. 3 sipped tea leisurely and felt happy. I didn't expect that 100 years later, their bounty is still valid. This is wealth worth 200 million belly. Promotion and salary increase are today. Mr. 3 looked at the straw hats next to the two giants. As for these fun people, I will complete this mission perfectly. As the fierce battle between the giants gradually came to an end, Mr. 3 smiled and ordered Mr. 5. The time has come, Mr. 5, go and give our friend a special gift. After hearing the third brother's order, Mr. 5 pressed his nose and sprinkled sticky stuff into the wine barrel. Another draw, ha ha ha. The two giants, Brocky and Dongli, laughed wildly. After 100 years of fighting, they could picture each other's every move in their minds even if they closed their eyes, so in the end, they both still fell to the ground. Dongli, today I entertained some interesting guests and was given good wine. Brocky said excitedly while panting. Ah ha ha ha. I also met a few interesting guests today, but I also want wine, please share some with me. Dongli responded, with an equally happy face. When Brocky came back, Nami couldn't wait to ask her question. What kind of deep hatred can make you fight for 100 years? I think your relationship is obviously very good. Brocky scratched his helmet and thought hard for a while, then said indifferently. I have long forgotten the reason. But fighting is our honor. After hearing such nonsense, Usopp looked yearning. This is how heroic a man on the sea should be. No one wants to break the other's pride. This is the kind of brave warrior I pursue. I want to be as strong a warrior as you. Brocky looked shocked. Do you want to become a giant? Usopp's head was full of black lines. No, this is a metaphor. The serious atmosphere was instantly shattered, making the place filled with joy again. Brocky smiled innocently and pointed at Albero. Has your friend slept for a long time? Is he hibernating? Huh, her. Nami looked at the fat woman. This guy is a pervert, but it can also be understood as hibernating. If you think about it carefully, Kang has become unreliable since he joined the Straw Hat Pirates. Nami remembered her first meeting with Kang again and became very angry. When I actively recruited myself at that time, it must have been to find a nanny. The volcano erupted again, and the warriors' glorious battle came again. This time the giant on the other side was injured under the conspiracy of the despicable person. Come on, brave warrior Brocky. Usopp will always support you. Usopp shouted in tears as he watched Brocky drift away. Okay, Usopp, come and carry Kang quickly. We must tell Luffy and Vivi about the situation on this island. Usopp said reluctantly. Why don't we just wake him up? Nami was stunned and said angrily. In my opinion, there is no comparison between our strength and his existence time. Usopp wiped his tears and felt that Nami was right. The two of them carried Albero around in the forest, one behind the other. At this time, Nami suddenly screamed excitedly. Usopp, Luffy and Vivi are in front. I see them. After hearing this, Usopp revealed his head and looked at the two people who were leaning against the tree and giggling. He always felt that something was wrong. Nami, why do I think something is wrong with those two guys? What nonsense are you talking about? Come over quickly. The two of them carried Albero and ran quickly, one after the other, but... Ah, plop. With a sound, the two fell into the trap. What is this white and sticky thing? Ah, it's so disgusting. Hey, Nami, this thing is getting hard. We're trapped. Shout the spell. Nami, the curse. What is the curse? Kang ku ku di. Bald Kang is so cool. Kang is so cool. It's over. What is the spell? Why can't you remember it, idiot Usopp? It's all Kang's fault. What a bullshit spell. Can't it be simpler? He deserves to be in the Air Force every day. So what exactly is a spell? Kang sat on the edge of the cliff next to the island, sneezed, and cursed. Damn it. Who cursed me? It must have been Usopp who cursed my Air Force. When he thought about what he had just harvested, he felt angry. Next to him were aquatic plants, fish bones, stones. Kang was attentive, and his eyes instantly became extremely serious. It seems that I can only use that move. The second fishing of the 18 fishings, motor fishing. Ah. Kang shook the fishing rod crazily, his right hand vibrating at high frequencies like a massage stick. There's drama. A fisherman will never fly in the Air Force. As the rapidly shaking fishing rod was hooked up, a blue octopus with a size of about 0.3 inches strong was caught this time. Dumb. The dark crow waved its wings at the octopus. Kang pushed away the dark crow and looked at the octopus with a look of disgust. Lousy's fishing of faith has been used. Where's the golden legend? Where's the Food Island goldfish? When Octopus saw Kang despising him, he angrily spat blue phlegm at him. Put on guy. Kang was not used to it and pressed it directly onto the iron plate, grilling it and eating it right away. Kang wiped off the blue ink and flattered the dark crow. Dark crow, you're in for a treat today. I'll give you some later. Let's see if there are 2 more pieces today. Dumb. Dark crow attacked Kang with a wave of wings. What the hell? What happened to you today? Murkrow. Hey, stop making trouble. Chapter 77 Despicable 1, Candlestick. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. In the center of the island, 2 huge figures are still fighting fiercely. Even if Dongli suffered an explosion because of some despicable person's trick. Soon some despicable villain couldn't stand it anymore. At this time, Blue Ogre Dongli suddenly stumbled. I won totally. The battle that lasted a century. Red Ogre Brocky immediately seized the opportunity and slashed open Dongli's chest with his giant axe. PFF'd. The blood on Dongli's chest splashed down, and his tall body suddenly fell down. Brocky was already in tears at this time, crying like a 30,000-40,000 ton Ultraman, and he shouted. The 73,497th, first victory. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. One of the 2 giants didn't know whether he was alive or dead, and the other was exhausted. At this time, Mr. 3, the mastermind behind the scenes, felt that he had a great advantage and jumped out to ridicule. Haha, are you crying with joy? Single-cell organisms are really happy. Forget it, thank you for the hard work. By the way, you were arrested by me. At this time, Brocky's legs had been blocked by wax oil, and he seemed to have just reacted, staggering and falling to the ground. How about it? How does it feel to defeat a century-old enemy? Ha ha ha, how stupid. It's a pity. You didn't know that Blue Ogre Dongli was already injured from the beginning. You are really a stupid creature to kill your partner who has been fighting for 100 years. Brocky roared with tears in his eyes. I knew it. I noticed from the first moment that Dongli couldn't hide it from me. The third brother looked disdainful. Then you know why you didn't stop. I didn't see any hesitation with that axe. Brocky said solemnly. How could you, a despicable person like you who doesn't even know how to duel, understand the reason for my tears? Can I humiliate a soldier who conceals his injuries? How can I show mercy to a warrior who is eager to fight? That's why I made the final decision on Dongli. This is my respect for him. With that said, Brocky began to break away from the steel-like liquid wax. Under the quality of the giant, any iron was useless. The giant is really troublesome. Stop him, Mr. 3 said displeased. 20,000 kilograms scarlet guillotine. I don't know when, Ms. Valentine had appeared behind the giant. She fell from the air at a high speed and even heated her legs, and finally knocked Brocky to the ground. The backlash of this move also made Michita's beautiful legs feel a little uncomfortable. Seeing his partner using his strength, Mr. 5 didn't bother to use his booger anymore, he just cut his wrist and spit out the blood continuously. He discovered that his blood could cause a more violent explosion, 3 times more powerful than booger. Blood explosion. Under his fruit power, blood exploded in a continuous flow. His shiny bald head also confirms his growth. The 2 people turned their grief and anger into strength, and the strength they exploded was completely different from what it was a few days ago. This time it seemed like Brocky would never get up again. Mr. 3 covered half of the giant's face with wax liquid. He raised his eyes, he had looked down upon these colleagues before. At this time, Brigitte's voice sounded again. I will kill you. Even if it means death. I will do it for Dongli. Brigitte's mouth continued to ooze blood, his eyes turned white, but he wanted to get up furiously. However, he had already exhausted all his physical strength, which was extracted purely by will. For the glory of the warrior. Moreover, Mr. 3 is not a person who is easygoing except for the protagonist group. I still have to do it. Melt carving sword. With a wave of his hand, 4 wax swords made from candles penetrated the giant's limbs, nailing him firmly to the ground. The scene hurts to watch. Despicable. Despicable. Although Brigitte was half conscious, he still murmured this word. You shouldn't be able to get up this time, right? Mr. 3 had no mercy. He raised his hands and declared victory. Very good, I have accepted 2 pirate heads worth hundreds of millions. Then, Mr. 3 looked behind him with a proud look on his face and said, how was the show? Do you know what happened to me? Ha ha ha. The screen turns to behind Mr. 3. A huge wax cake came into view, and Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Albira on standby were stuck on the cake like candles. Once here, the painting style changes suddenly. Kang is so cool. Bald Kang is cool. Nami and Usopp were still doing mindless experiments, shouting and covering their faces, looking crazy. Hey, what are you doing? What happened to the fishing guy? Zoro asked with a look of disgust. Nami turned into a shark tooth and said angrily, how did you get caught, you idiot? You are still the second strongest in combat. Based on her understanding of Zoro's strength, she could never imagine that he would be captured like 2 weaklings. There's no way Zoro could call himself a road idiot. He was so happy to meet his companion that he relaxed for a moment. The other party used their abilities to take on your appearance, but when I found out it was already too late. Facing Zoro's explanation, Nami was speechless because he and Usopp fell into the same trap. It's all Nami's fault. I just said there was a problem. My perception is not wrong. Usopp said angrily. Usopp, what do you mean? It's not that you can't remember Kang's spell. Calm down, Nami. Let's think about it quickly. Zoro was confused as he listened. What is this? At this time, Mr. 3 appeared with a wicked smile. HMPH, you are so energetic, but you will soon regret messing with our Baroque Works Club. As the third brother's ability was activated, white mist continued to float down above the heads of Nami and the other four. Mr. 3 kindly explained. This is wax mist, it can turn you into wax figures. Real wax figures that even my modeling level cannot achieve. This is simply a work of art infused with soul. Go die in the midst of my great art. The villain dies because he talks too much and has too many fancy skills, so the third brother is a qualified villain. This look makes Buggy want to scold him. Ah. No, why do we have to become your works of art? Nami was the first to object. A light bulb appeared in Usopp's head. Since it's wax, then why not use fire? With that said, he took out his slingshot. Must kill. 10,000 pounds die casting. Usopp was crushed to the ground by Ms. Valentine, vomiting blood. Candle shackles. At this time, another ball of white wax wrapped around him, turning Usopp into a lying cow and horse. Mr. 3 was relieved. Fortunately, these people were not very smart. Idiot Usopp, can't you do it secretly? Nami was furious with such a mentally retarded teammate. Her weather stick started to create hot bubbles and melted Zoro's legs, but the efficiency was very slow and there was no time at all. She put her hand into her underwear and took out the detonating charms. Fortunately, she brought out a few. What is that, Mr. 5, go and stop her. Third brother's famous saying. Just don't let others do what they want to do. The detonating talisman fell quietly. It seems to smell like me. Mr. 5, you feel right, this is what your hair is made of. Because the detonating talisman was delayed. Before it exploded, Mr. 5 swallowed the detonating talisman that had its own taste. This tastes really bad. Nami looked confused. Being eaten. That's my money. Nami covered her head. It's over. Guzao Donkey is at the end of his game. Is there anything else I can use to start a fire? Since my feet are fixed, let's cut off my feet. Anyway, I won't just sit there and die. Zoro saw that Nami was out of moves, and Usopp almost turned pale, knowing that time waits for no one. He pointed the knife in his hand at his calf and wanted to perform the Golden Lion act. No, Zoro. I remembered. The situation was critical. Nami racked her brains and finally remembered that boring spell. Bald Kang is also cool. As Nami shouted in shame, her voice spread throughout the countryside. Albaro next to him opened his eyes instantly. Password is correct. Gaia. Chapter 78 Flame Purification. The war begins. Kang woke up, first looked around, and looked disgusted after knowing the situation. The introduction to S**X is actually very different from the original work. The other party used a wax figure ability to easily capture half of the members of the Straw Hats. Has your practice of knowledge, and S**X been in vain during this period? Angry, Kang took out the iron rod from his crotch and shouted, tell me. Who is the most beautiful woman in this sea? The enemies in the audience have black lines all over their heads. Where did this joke come from? Wait, where did she pull out the big stick? After Kang finished speaking, he smashed the candle holder with a bang. After feeling the hardness of the candle holder, he looked at Zoro. He said angrily, ouch. Some people can't cut iron, right? They're really weak. You'd better let me help you. Everyone swallowed a mouthful and turned pale. This is too much of a deterrent. Damn it, if you do this disgusting thing to me again, I will definitely chop you down. Zoro blushed and almost dropped his sword. Mr. 3 pointed at Brocky and said pretentiously, I am controlled by my wax, even a giant can't break free. Albaro twisted his neck and took back the iron rod. Haha, really, it's best if you can still laugh after a while. Hey, you're not going to burn us with ninjutsu. People will die. Nami was completely panicked. Let the flame purify everything. After Kang finished speaking, he clapped his hands and raised his neck. Fire-style dragon flame technique. Kang faced the candlestick with a burst of flames, and the fire dragon directly ignited the entire candlestick. The flames swept across and the candle holder melted instantly. Zoro reacted the fastest and had already popped out when he untied the restraints. Santo Ryu, little girl, what are you doing? At this time, the fire eroded Nami and Usopp, and the two shouted loudly, ah. Kang, water, water. At this time, a water wall perfectly protected the two people who were slow to react. The fire cleared. Kang, UB ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Nami simply tore off her coat and exposed her bra. Sanji must have been ecstatic about this scene. Kang felt the chakra and said to the cowards, I just used a few ninjutsu, there is not much chakra left. Upon hearing this, Nami was unhappy. Then what should we do? Are Usopp and I supposed to face these enemies? Usopp quickly agreed. That's right, that's right. Wait, why is that green algae head still in the mood to drink tea? He pointed at Zoro and turned into a shark tooth. At this time, Zoro was drinking tea leisurely with a little loli on a picnic cloth. Kong covered his face. Zoro is such an idiot. But he felt the movement from the forest. That idiot captain was probably coming. He said, I will help you control one, and the others are up to you. At this time, fifth brother and Ms. Valentine took the opportunity to launch a sneak attack. How dare you ignore us? Facing the two attacks, Kong threw Usopp and Nami away. Kong released the transformation technique, and 3 Magatama appeared in his eyes. Long time no see Michita, do you still remember that night? Brother Wu and Ms. opened their mouths wide when they saw their aunt became bald on Valentine's Day. Ms. Valentine's Day, don't look into his eyes, he can't handle us getting stronger. Blood explosion, 20,000 kilograms Shinigami sickle. Boom, boom, bang, boom, the smoke and dust cleared. The combined attacks of fifth brother and Valentine directly blew up a huge pit. Not bad, it looks like there are no bones left, the third brother exclaimed with satisfaction. At this time, Mr. 5 was looking around, he did not believe that Kong would die so easily. At this time, here we are, I'm going to beat you all away. You guys are tarnishing the honor of warriors. Luffy and Vivi rushed out of the forest on speed, but they arrived a little late. They braked in front of the third brother. Luffy, Vivi, Usopp and Nami were instantly ecstatic. Hey, everyone is here. Luffy looked surprised, saw the leisurely Zoro, and said with a dissatisfied look on his face. Hey, Zoro, you actually eat delicious food secretly. Zoro calmly drank tea and ate senbei. It was so painful that he couldn't express it. He was possessed by Ms. Golden Week's emotional paint. Luffy, circled operator. Wow, what a weird head. It's a burning 3. Mr. 3 D, shut up. It's so noisy. As soon as Luffy appeared, the tense atmosphere was completely destroyed. Mr. 3 was so angry that his teeth itched, but he still pretended to be cool. Forget it, as long as I kill you, the mission is accomplished. Ms. paints for Golden Week, and Mr. 5 and Ms. do it on Valentine's Day. Ms. After finishing the senbei during Golden Week, she raised a pile of paint. Usopp hid behind a tree, held up his slingshot, pointed at Golden Week and said, leave this little girl to me. Nami covered her face helplessly when she saw the shameless Usopp like this. Ms. Golden Week didn't care about Usopp, she ran all the way and jumped on the candle robot and merged. Mr. 5 was still observing the surroundings vigilantly when he heard the third brother calling. Hey, Ms. Valentine, it seems like we really killed that terrifying opponent. Why is fifth brother like this? I clearly didn't look him in the eyes. Ms. Valentine seemed to have fallen into a state of immobilization, with sweat dripping from her forehead. What, is that guy still around? Mr. 5 waved sideways. The battlefield turned into a confrontation between the two sides. On one side are Luffy, Vivi, Usopp, Nami and, run fast, who are hiding aside. Zoro. The tea is delicious. The other party is the combined Mr. 3 and Ms. Golden Week, as well. Well, what are you two doing? Facing the pale Mr. 5 and Ms. Valentine, Mr. 3 snorted unhappily. What are you two doing? Mr. 5 shouted anxiously. Third brother, Michita seems to have been affected by hypnosis. Hurry and ask Ms. Golden Week to help. Mr. 3's mouth twitched after hearing this. He looked at Zoro and then at Ms. Valentine. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. We'll wait until we deal with the guy with the straw hat, then go deal with the others. Although Mr. 5 was unwilling to do so, he still nodded heavily, that was all he could do. If you want to take action against my companions, ask me first. Luffy clapped his hands and rushed out. Straw hat, your opponent is me, come over here. Color trap. Angry red. Luffy suddenly couldn't help but want to attack. Red. Usopp, who was watching from a distance, had already discovered the secret of Zoro being controlled with his excellent observation skills. He smiled slightly. Must kill Fire Star, but it's useless. Fifth brother swallowed the flames in one gulp. Damn explosive man. At this time, Nami raised the weather stick. Usopp, I'll stop this explosive man, you go and save Zoro. Vivi also shook the peacock lock and couldn't let Nami fight alone. She shouted to the scared running fast. Run fast. Go help Usopp. Quack. Want to run. Breathe the bomb. Mr. 5 punched himself and spat out a large amount of blood at the three of them like darts. Usopp. Don't look back, go through the fog. Nami shouted as a reminder, and the weather stick in his hand quickly sprayed bubbles. Tiano clone technique. The moment Usopp passed through the fog, he turned into 3 phantoms of different sizes. If Luffy saw this scene, he would immediately get excited. At this moment, Michita was released from the control. She jumped up and looked at Nami and Vivi, who were also women, with an angry face. Damn it, you must be bald friends. I want you to die. 23,000 kilogram bare leg impact. Chapter 79 Fair Pokémon Battle. At the mouth of the sea, Kang was holding a fishing rod and eating blue octopus. FK. Why does my whole body hurt? At this time, I just felt the message from the clone. It seems fine, let's grow up. Nami, Usopp. However, when I think about being killed by Michita, this is definitely Shadow Clone's revenge. Is this what it feels like to be crushed to death? Why does it feel wrong? The dark crow next to him sighed, his face speechless. At this time, the fishing rod shook again. A purple jellyfish was caught. Although he has a forced appointment physique of 0.4, Kang is still a little disgusted. There are only 17 baits left. Where is my golden legend? Dumb. Kang pushed away the dark crow and took a closer look at the jellyfish in his hand. Jellyfish, also known as jellyfish, are aphrodisiacs and can be used a little. Kang quickly slices it, dips it in the sauce and takes a bite. The taste. It's so fresh. It feels so good to eat it by yourself. But Kang bared his teeth again soon. However, the feeling of being crushed into a meat pie is really uncomfortable. Air Force. The fisherman's daily life is the Air Force. At this time, the long-lost great strength came. 18 catches of fish fall, and the gate of heaven opens with one catch. Whoosh! Kang fished out a 15-meter-long, 14-ton plesiosaur. Because there was no such a big net, the plesiosaur flew up directly and roared with bared teeth when it reached the shore. This time, Kang's physique increased by about 5 inches strong appointments. However, this was the last bait. In this major training, he only broke through 7 inches forced appointments, which was still far from Kang's expected 15 inches forced appointments. This F******** G fishing spot must be poisonous. Give lousy 7 a forced appointment for 30 baits. It's worse than a moo. Kang cursed angrily. This last big dinosaur is more like a big guarantee. We have run out of bait. Without this bait, fishing for the golden legend is impossible. Where is the merc crow? Where did he go? He didn't even pull some bait, but he ran away. Kang clapped his hands. Psychic technique dark crow. Dumb. As soon as the dark crow appeared, it called twice anxiously and flew towards the forest. What are you doing, mercrow? Kang didn't understand very much and took another shot. Psychic technique dark crow. Bang. The dark crow was summoned again. Dumb. Dark crow kept gesticulating at Kang, and then pointed randomly at the forest. Kang was confused, but he understood the meaning, and dark crow asked him to go to the forest. He dragged his tired body into the forest with mercrow. Not long after, Kang discovered a candle house located deep in the forest. This is Mr. 3's base camp. Well done, Dark Crow. At this time, Ms. Friday the vulture and Mr. 13 the sea otter who were standing at the window looked inside. When they saw the Dark Crow and the strange Kang, they showed a cruel smile and immediately launched an attack. Ms. Friday first released a powerful sonic attack with a piercing scream and rushed straight at her. Dark Crow, use storm. Kang quickly ordered. Dumb. The Dark Crow moved in response, and a storm came through the sky, colliding with the sound waves ejected from the vulture's mouth. A violent explosion almost rose into the sky, and the surrounding leaves were blown down by the strong wind. Ho ha ha ha. At this time, the sea otter jumped up, rushed towards him quickly, and sent a fierce punch straight towards the Dark Crow with a cold light. The sea otter's speed was not slow. As the cold light flashed on the glove, he was in front of the Dark Crow almost in the blink of an eye. No martial ethics. Pokémon Battle 2v1. Marark. Get out of the way. Use smoke. Upon hearing Kang's command, the Dark Crow flapped its wings and flew into the sky without hesitation. After dodging the sea otter's fist, it opened its mouth with its backhand and sprayed out a mouthful of black mist. The sea otter had no time to react before it was wrapped in black mist and lost its target. However, the crisis was not over yet. The vulture took the opportunity to launch an attack, and saw a knife-like wing cutting from it, falling directly on the Dark Crow. Dumb. The vulture's wing attack made the Dark Crow lose its balance. Dark Crow. Kang was angry, but the Dark Crow only fell down and then flapped its wings again, with a hint of seriousness on his face. Seeing this scene, Kang breathed a sigh of relief. 2 volts 1 is indeed a bit troublesome, but the good news is that the sea otter has landed. He didn't want Dark Crow to get hurt. After all, this was his own Pokémon. In this case, Dark Crow will deal with the sea otter first and use sneak attack. After saying that, Kang disappeared in an instant. Dumb. The Dark Crow waved its wings and disappeared into the fog in an instant. Woo. The sea otter, which was trying to escape from the black fog, suddenly stopped moving, as if something strange was trapped in its body. Sorry, I don't talk about martial ethics either. After a burst of beeping, the smoke was blown away by vultures. What caught the eye of Ms. Vulture Friday was that the sea otter fainted and fell to the ground with a face full of tears. The Dark Crow continued to peck, while Kang turned his head and whistled to the side, checking a permanent pointer in his hand, as if everything had nothing to do with him. Ms. Friday let out a hoarse cry, and a burst of fierce flames shot toward the mercrow. Kang looked at this scene and formed a seal with his hands. Dark Crow, get out of the way. The Dark Crow was still bullying the sea otter and flapped its wings quickly after receiving the order, but it was still too late. But a stream of water blocked the flames, and I didn't have enough dexterity or skills to do it. Gu. Gah. The vulture yelled hoarsely and angrily, as if to say that Kang did not follow martial ethics. Kang turned away and whistled. Dark Crow, use Nightshade. Scare him. The Dark Crow let out a soft cry, fluttered its wings and activated its skills, and black energy condensed on its body. At this time, a terrifying black shadow appeared behind it, and Ms. Friday was panicked. This sense of oppression and terror scared it so much that it almost fell to the ground. The vulture instinctively turned around and attacked with its wings. However, that is just a false phantom. Good opportunity. Dark Crow uses sneak attack. Dumb. The Dark Crow seized the opportunity and launched a fatal sneak attack from the side, hitting the vulture accurately on the head. The huge impact knocked the vulture flying, and the vulture flew backwards and struggled to open its eyes. I saw a trace of pride on Dark Crow's face. One hit to finish it off. Murkrow uses storm. The strong wind spurted out from the mouth of the Dark Crow, and the powerful force directly bombarded the vulture. With the roar of the explosion and the strong wind, the vulture flew backwards heavily and landed hard on the ground. Dumb. Dark Crow looked at Kang with a victor's look on his face, as if to say that this kind of battle won my heart. Kang suddenly felt dizzy, as if he saw an upgraded light shining on the Dark Crow. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and felt something was wrong with his body. What's going on with my body? Is it because of Shadow Clone? How come I haven't seen anyone die because of Shadow Clone? Chapter 80 Nami's Growth. Secure Asset Portal. Your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. When Kang was about to faint, the door of the candle room opened quietly, and Sanji appeared at the door with a cigarette in his mouth. When he saw Kang's blue and green body, he couldn't help but be stunned. What did he see? Avatar Kai Khan. However, he still calmly said to the phone bug. No boss, there was a little accident, and someone is still alive. A deep and depressed voice came from the other end of the phone. Oh. Really? So were you lying to me just now? There was a thin layer of sweat on Sanji's forehead, but he still remained calm. That was just an accident. Now the mission has been completed perfectly. There is no need to send anyone else here. The phone bug imitated the image on the opposite side. It held a cigar in its mouth and glanced at it. It's best this way, Mr. 3. Deal with them. After saying that, the phone bug closed his eyes. Sanji looked up at Kang. Hey, fishing man, what's wrong with you? Kang now sees Sanji in a ghost state, and he still doesn't understand what's wrong with him. The Dark Crow flew to Sanji's head and gestured for a while, and then took out blue tentacles, purple tissue, and colorful seaweed from his head. What? Are you saying that this idiot ate these without handling them? And he ate them all. These things are not normal, right? This can't be blamed on Kang. Usually, Sanji's dishes are made with colorful ingredients, and there are no problems when eating them. Why does he have problems when he bakes them? Sanji had something to say. I dealt with the poisonous part based on the chef's feeling, you idiot. And it's specially for you to eat. All the good things are given to Miss Nami. Why hollow down pointing triangle asterisk covering her mouth and snickering? On the other side, Alabasta. After Crocodile ended the call, he gave Robin a ruthless order. Let Mr. 2 go to the root of Little Garden and Alabasta, and get rid of Mr. 3 and the others. Only dead people cannot speak. Robin nodded calmly. You are so cruel, boss. By the way, remember to use the command strip, there is still a risk of phone bugs being eavesdropped. Crocodile added. I understand, cautious Mr. 0. After saying that, she turned around and left, but she felt a little funny in her heart. Because he had already recognized the voice on the phone just now, it was the waiter who handed her the drink. Obviously, the Straw Hats have successfully defeated Mr. 3, but the conceited Crocodile is still in the dark. Small garden, battlefield. Nami, wearing a cool bra, lay on the ground with a panting look on her face. Ms. Valentine's power made her and Vivi suffocate. Ms. I took off once on Valentine's Day, and Nami didn't seem to have much energy left to avoid it. But, at this time, Nami smiled slyly and engaged in foreplay for a long time just for now. In her hand, she held tightly the first version of the weather stick that Kang participated in making. Since Kang participated in the production of the initial weather stick and added the inscription of the chakra technique in the production, this resulted in a qualitative leap in the hot and cold bubbles controlled by Nami, and the speed of cloud creation was greatly increased. What he has engraved are two fixed chakra conversion techniques, similar to the principle of ninjas making fire and water. If only the warm and cold bubbles. After experiments, it is no exaggeration to say that Nami can be used for 2 hours after charging Kang once. However, because of the chakra attribute, Kang could only use the principle of magic to modify the warm and cold bubbles of the weather stick. As for the electric attribute, he said he was helpless. After all, it was God Usopp who made things, and he couldn't even understand them. At this moment, a dark cloud quietly gathered on the horizon. Nami waved the weather stick in his hand, and a powerful electricity was born in the clouds. Weather. Lightning strike. Nami yelled and hurriedly held her head habitually. Michita, also known as Ms. Valentine, who was floating in the air, suddenly felt thunder rolling above her head. She couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Her umbrella became a high-altitude lightning rod. Thunder. Thunder. When? 20,000 kilograms bloody guillotine. Ms. I still want to fight to the death on Valentine's Day, but how can this falling speed be as fast as lightning? Boom. Ah. With a scream of terror, Ms. Valentine's whole body was shaking violently and convulsing continuously. The umbrella turned into charcoal in the thunder and lightning, and her body became charred black, charred on the outside and tender on the inside. Vivi has quick eyesight and quick hands. She used. Peacock saw. At the moment Ms. Valentine fell, giving her the finishing blow. Ms. Valentine's eyes turned white and she fell heavily to the ground, stirring up a cloud of smoke and dust. Nami, we defeated single-digit senior agents. Vivi covered her shoulders with a look of disbelief. Nami also didn't expect that Makita, also known as Ms. Valentine, would suddenly attack on Valentine's Day, but she actually cooperated with Vivi to defeat this senior agent. Have you grown so much? Nami suddenly thought of something and became furious. A-hole Kang. I promised to control one of them. I want to ask him to pay for medical expenses and clothing expenses. At the same time, on the other side of the battlefield, Mr. Five fell on the ground near the candle robot, with 3 stab wounds on his back that were deep enough to show the bone. You could tell at a glance whose hand it was. At this moment, Zoro's nose was bruised and his face was swollen. He no longer drank tea, but chewed grass leaves leisurely, and was marked with a green at on his back. Why don't you fall down? Mr. 3 gritted his teeth. The straw hat boy in front of him was like Xiaoqiang from Immune to Death, which made him experience the tricky feeling for the first time. Ms. Golden Week, do it again. I don't believe I can't defeat him. Sad blue. Ms. Golden Week casts color trap again. Luffy was unable to dodge and successfully stepped into the trap, falling into a state of sadness. The Jungle Field Army Sniper and Fast Knight Usopp, Sharktooth said, "Are you too stupid? Why did you get tricked again?" Usopp is so tired. He has obviously learned everything about seeing, hearing and seeing, so why did Luffy take the initiative to step on Zoro when he was hit? Except for Zoro taking action once during the battle, the rest of the time was spent playing. That's right, playing. Although Usopp didn't dare to play, he couldn't help but complain. Usopp, who was about to go back, pulled the reins and rushed back to help. As for Zoro, let's take a leisurely bite of grass first. Sure kill. Fire Star. Usopp's long-range attack directly eliminated the paint under Luffy's body. Are you an idiot, Luffy? Nami and Vivi rushed to the scene and cursed Luffy. Tiano clone technique. Nami used Mirage to take advantage of the chaos and confuse Golden Week's vision. Ms. Valentine's Day has been defeated. Mr. 3 panicked immediately when he saw this. Now that the other party has returned to help, the situation is in danger. Damn it. This paint is so restraining me. Luffy complained to Nami after getting up. His clothes were in tatters, and it seemed that Nami's business was about to pick up again. Nami holds his forehead. Luffy and Zoro are idiots and Lolita control, and they are completely defeated by this Ms. Golden Week. Stop making trouble, Luffy. Deal with them quickly. Maybe they have something we need. Nami quickly explained the current situation on the island. Luffy took a deep breath and nodded. Okay. This one blow will solve it. Chapter 81 Bonfire in the Small Garden. Nami's message made Luffy enter a serious state, as if he was just playing. Rubber. Mr. 3, run quickly, the paint is ruined by the long nose. Ms. Golden Week shouted to remind her partner. Pistol. The rubber arm contracted instantly and hit the robot head with a heavy punch, directly attacking the mecha pilot. The combination of Mr. 3 and Ms. Golden Week caused nosebleeds. Run fast, let's go. Usopp knew that the opportunity to beat the drowned dog had come, and was ready to kill the strongest Loli first. At this time, Usopp looked confident. Usopp, I'm the well-deserved Loli killer. Leave the enemies you can't kill to me. Ms. Golden Week rolled around on the ground a few times, sniffed in disgrace, wiped the nosebleed, and was so aggrieved that she did not cry. Damn long nose, it's all your fault, cry for me. Sad blue. Ms. Golden Week threw out 2 blue paints, hitting Usopp accurately and running fast. He was running so fast that he suddenly stopped suddenly, buried his head in the ground, and screamed sadly, while Usopp was thrown out by the sudden inertia. As we all know, there are 10 buckets of luck in the world. So Usopp accidentally hit Ms. Golden Week's head. The poor senior agent was hit hard by Usopp and fainted directly. But Usopp got up without any fuss, and the ADC in the meat suit was so terrifying. Before Ms. Golden Week fainted, she was still full of questions. Why was Sad Blue ineffective? At this time, maybe a little Loli who controls a ghost has something to say. Usopp covered his head, pointed at Ms. Golden Week and shouted in a show-off. Hey! Did you see? I killed this little girl. At this time, Nami saw Mr. 3 running away and quickly shouted, Luffy, chase that 3. It's such a shame that the second most powerful member of the Straw Hats was hit by such a low-level attack again. Zoro. Usopp pretended to be serious and taught Zoro, who was munching grass leisurely. He felt secretly happy now and had no intention of rescuing Zoro. And Zoro was still carefree as if nothing had happened. I have to say that the hypnosis effect of Ms. Golden Week is so abnormal that even Lausha seems to be unable to withstand it. And Nami on the side. It's over. It's over. There's nothing. There was a hint of desperation in her words. Vivi, we can only hope that the third brother can have the pointer to Alabasta, otherwise. Just when Usopp was triumphant and Nami was sad, Luffy suddenly appeared. Even though he was covered in glory, he was still full of energy. Nami. There is no pointer. He suddenly thought of something again, and his eyes flashed. By the way. When did you learn the clone technique? I remember Kang said that it is something only ninjas can do. He remembered that he had seen Nami's version of the clone technique, and his face was as excited as if he had discovered a new world. When Nami heard the news that there is no pointer, it was like a bolt from the blue. And Luffy was still clapping his hands and shouting, Nami. I want to learn. I want to learn. I don't care. Nami couldn't help raising his fist and said, I used science. Science. It's a natural phenomenon called mirage, not ninjutsu. It's just a borrowed name. Do you understand? Boom. Brainless guys can't learn this. Just a fool like you who crushed the permanent pointer. Boom. Luffy, who even defeated his third brother in the Champions Cup, was finally defeated by Nami's Iron Fist. Shortly after, Brocky woke up slowly with a gloomy face, looking at his old enemy and century-old friend Dongli beside him, feeling extremely sad in his heart. Vivi stood up with the same sad expression, her eyes fell on Brocky, and her heart was filled with guilt. It can be said that all this happened because of her. God Elbaf. It shouldn't have ended like this. Wow. With a sound, Brocky's tears fell like a waterfall, directly pouring cold blood on Luffy and making his heart sore. The bursting of the waterfall here is definitely not a metaphor. If it weren't for the wrong atmosphere, Luffy would definitely shout, wow. A rainbow actually appeared. Usopp, Nami, Zoro and Kodak were dumbfounded and shocked at this moment. Because Dongli, it's a scam. Did I faint, or have I reached Elbaf's paradise? Dongli weakly and tremblingly propped up his body and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Although his body was covered in scars, there was still a smile of unknown meaning at the corner of his mouth. Brocky's crying stopped suddenly when he heard his friend's voice. He hugged Dongli excitedly, shaking his hands violently unconsciously, and his heart was filled with shock and doubt. Dongli, why did you? Hey, be gentle, my wounds will burst if you slap them. Dongli's face was pale, and he endured the pain. The blood on his chest had solidified. Maybe it's because of the weapons. Dongli explained calmly. In addition to the extraordinary physique of their giant family, another reason is that the weapons in their hands have experienced hundreds of years of battles. Even the magic weapons originating from Elbaf cannot withstand such long-term wear and tear. So, after a fusion of iron blood and friendship, Brgy burst into a passionate roar. Today was AF G great day. I want to thank the god Elbaf. Nami looked at the pair of friends who depended on each other for life and death, and sighed helplessly. We obviously have deep feelings for each other, but they insist on fighting to the death. Men are really hopeless. His best friend used the resurrection coin, and Brocky was grateful to the Straw Hats. We want to thank you, brave little guys, for defending the dignity and glory of the giant. Enough meat for today, Brocky shouted. Great, it's time for a banquet. Luffy was filled with energy and jumped up in joy. The bonfire was raised and the cheerful atmosphere began to rise. Usopp, who had a headache all over his head, suddenly felt choked. He slapped his mouth and pointed not far away. At this time, Ms. Golden Week's small body carried Mr. Five and Ms. Valentine's Day unscientifically and galloped away. Hey, you guys, Usopp was about to speak when he was interrupted by Zoro. Okay, stop talking nonsense, Usopp, no one has seen it, let them go. Zoro is such a Lolita control. He is so gentle. Luffy shouted. Usopp, come on and do the chopstick dance. On the other side of the noise and laughter, Nami and Vivi seemed particularly lonely. Nami sat by the campfire, the frustration on her face like a dark cloud covering the sun. It's useless even if you win, the record pointer here takes a year to get better, woohoo. Vivi, just kill Luffy, I will never stop you. Vivi also lowered her head and held her head in her hands, her heart filled with despair. A year later, when I returned to the country, I still had two questions about whether or not Alabasta was a country. It might have been renamed Saudi Arabia. Did they really have to stay here for a whole year? No, when the two of them were disappointed. Dumb. The dark crow suddenly landed on a piece of meat and began to eat fiercely. Chapter 82 Gathering and Pursuing Troops. Secure Asset Portal. Your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. The arrival of Murkrow means the return of jungler Sanji and Dead Angler. Sanji's eyes flashed with passion, and he immediately shook off the dizzy Kang, and ran towards the two beauties like a graceful knight. Miss Nami, Miss Vivi, I met the lovely ladies again. When Sanji saw that Nami was wearing a bra and her whole face was filled with love, and when his eyes fell on Nami, his eyes almost popped out of his head. Where did you die? Nami looked dissatisfied, with anger on his face. Seeing that Nami was angry, Sanji lit a cigarette and took a deep breath to calm his restless heart. I found a white candle room in the forest, and by the way, I received a call from someone who called himself Mr. Zero. What? As soon as this statement came out, everyone was shocked. Vivi asked in surprise, did you talk to Crocodile? Sanji frowned slightly and nodded, reminding. That's right, that Shichibukai seems to be making big moves towards your country. Time is running out, so we have to rush to Alabasta as soon as possible. After hearing this, Nami wanted to cry again and felt even more sorry for Vivi. But the record pointer needs to be recorded for a year. We're screwed. Pointer. This is no problem. Sanji turned Kang over with a spin, took out a permanent pointer from his crotch and held it up to display. As this, Vivi opened her eyes wide in disbelief. Sanji smiled confidently. Yes, Alabasta's permanent pointer. Left behind by the unlucky duo. Ah, Sanji, you are so amazing. Vivi and Nami rushed up to Sanji and hugged Sanji's head. Their hot love made Sanji feel suffocated. Kang on the side shook his head in envy. That's what I got. At this time, only Zoro was concerned about Kang who fell to the ground. He tilted his head and looked at the avatar carefully. He was sure that it was not paint. So, he opened his mouth and said, Hey, sexy cook, What's going on with this pretty fisherman? Sanji squeezed out a squinting head and said casually, Kaido. He probably has food poisoning, but he should be fine. He is just a little sluggish, speechless, gibbering, and hallucinating. Everything else seems to be normal. Seemingly confirming Sanji's words, Kang got up with a fit of sweat, stretched out his hand to grab the Dark Crow, and opened his bloody mouth. Dumb. Dark Crow panicked. You call this okay? Zoro turned into a shark tooth and knocked out Kang with one punch. When they heard that Kang had been poisoned, everyone immediately gathered around and poked the unconscious Kang like shit. The word poisoning is a bit far away for some people, such as genetically modified people, rubber men, meat ADCs, and road crazy swordsmen. Usopp shouted at Kang. Bald Kang is also cool. Nami. This can't be solved by chanting a spell. Luffy asked with an innocent look on his face. Can you be poisoned by eating something? Zoro thought of the poop-eating armored fish that Kang handed to Luffy before, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Don't compare your physique to idiots like the fishing guy. Vivi looked at Kang worriedly, wondering how to deal with someone getting sick at a critical moment. Nami patted Vivi on the shoulder, glanced at Kang who was lying limply on the ground, and said in a devilish tone. The top priority is to go to Alabasta. This guy Kang should be able to hold on. As he said that, Nami suddenly felt a little confused. Vivi quickly noticed Nami's situation. Nami, what's wrong with you? Nami shook her head. Kaido. I'm fine. Maybe I'm hot and cold. I caught a cold because I didn't wear enough clothes. It's all my fault that this idiot burned my coat. So, they continued playing music and then dancing. During the banquet, Luffy asked the two of them whether they would be domineering. Dongli and Brocky smiled at each other, stretched out their strong arms simultaneously, and said boldly. Feel it well, Straw Hat Boy, this is the power of armed hockey. As they spoke, the two giants slammed their fists on the ground for everyone to watch. Sanji, Luffy and Zoro all took a serious look at this so-called power of combining will and physical fitness. All three of them were amazed. Kang was lying on the ground, crying, and Abba said, sure enough, these two guys are domineering. At this moment, a fresh fragrance passed through the corner of Kang's mouth. Hey, stop talking, your saliva is flowing out again. Vivi held a handkerchief and gently wiped his saliva without showing any boredom or disgust. On the Grand Route, a majestic marine warship cuts through the waves. Without the whereabouts of the Straw Hats, a certain person seems to have lost his goal in life. At this time, a marine soldier came to the bow of the ship, holding a strange black phone bug in his hand and handing it to Smoker. The keywords transmitted from the phone bug, such as, Straw Hat, Princess Vivi, Mr. Zero, and Alabasta, these messages are like a huge stone dropped into a calm lake, causing ripples in Smoker's heart. Why did he come to the Grand Line, Straw Hat? Princess Vivi. Smoker chewed on the name, which made Smoker very concerned. Is she the missing princess of Alabasta Kingdom? Straw Hat kidnapped her. At this time, Dasky, who was standing aside and wearing glasses, said. The codename Mr. Zero always sounds familiar to me. Is it related to the swordsman codenamed Mr. 11 who we recently captured with strange behavior? As she spoke, she pointed to Mr. 11 who had been subdued and tied up. Upon hearing this, Smoker's eyes flashed and he walked straight towards Mr. 11. A moment later, amid the smoke, Smoker had finished handling it. He took a long drag on his cigar and began to collect his thoughts. The mysterious code name, Mr. 0 Inches obviously points to a criminal organization, and at this moment all information is intertwined with the turbulent situation in Alabasta. Isn't this too coincidental? Dasky, immediately apply to the headquarters for a permanent pointer to Alabasta. Smoker ordered decisively. However, Dasky hesitated slightly when receiving the order, but that is the area that Colonel Tina is responsible for. When Smoker heard the name, his veins popped out and he roared, go if you are told. So much nonsense. I can't be a logistics soldier. Seeing Smoker getting angry, Dasky trotted and disappeared quickly. Smoker picked up his cigar again and stared at the vast sea in front of him. His youth seemed to be back again. Straw Hats, no matter what you do, you can't escape. Chapter 83 Buggy, leaving the small garden. At the entrance to the great shipping route, the early morning sunshine fills the earth. Under the Twin Gorges lighthouse, a pirate ship flying the eye-catching red-nosed skull and crossbones flag is anchored here. Buggy, the clown on the ship who was famous for his red nose, was directing his men to surround the lighthouse keeper, Kurokas, with a fierce look on his face, and complained hoarsely. You immortal chrysanthemum old man, what do you know? That straw hat kid stole Lousy's treasure. I, Uncle Buggy, always seek revenge, and I swear to take back all their treasures. Kurokas looked at Buggy with a retarded expression. How obsessed is he with the treasure? At this time, a charming voice came from Buggy's pirate group. Oh. Buggy, do you really know how to respect the old and love the young? How about I become the captain? As the voice fell, a passage automatically opened in the pirate group, and Arita appeared in front of everyone in a charming manner. I want to ask why Arita is also in the Buggy group. Because she had a reason to pursue the Straw Hats. Beautiful Arita, Captain Arita, I agree with you to be the captain. So Captain Buggy, please give up your position. Ho, 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 Mochi and Liji were the first to rebel. Ever since Kabaji became the deputy captain, their lives have been very hard. Even Liji's lion food was a lot less, and he felt that if he continued like this, he might lose to his nemesis Kuku di Chi Kong. He made a promise with Li Ji that he would never be defeated. Arita carried the big stick, with a face full of jest and murderous intent, and said coldly, "Why are you talking so much to this old guy? If he doesn't say anything, he will be beaten to death with a stick." After hearing this, Kuroka's looked at Arita with sharp eyes. "I advise you not to, it will kill someone." Buggy was sweating profusely and his body almost fell apart with fear. "This is Kuroka's. How dare you? Who do you think will die?" Arita looked violent and had the urge to hit him with a stick if he was not satisfied. Kuroka's lay down directly on the ground and chose to touch the porcelain directly. "I'm going to die. Call a doctor for me, thank you." Arita, who came back to her senses, turned into a shark tooth and said angrily, "Ah! How dare you play tricks on me? You are dead. You are dead." Buggy's arms split apart and he hugged Arita tightly. "Arita, calm down, calm down. Let me do it. This old man has some Alzheimer's, something is not normal here." Buggy pointed at his head and explained to Arita. Arita smashed a big hole into the ground with her big stick and said angrily, "I'll give you 10 minutes. Otherwise, I'll beat you up too." After sending Alita away, Buggy wiped away the non-existent sweat. "Dr. Kulokas, please give me some face. After all, I was treated by you back then, right?" Buggy began to imitate his good brother's use of the face fruit ability, and the friendship he used seemed to have only been treated by a doctor. Kurokas resumed reading the newspaper leisurely and said without raising his head, "Didn't you also cure your red nose?" "Red nose." He said red nose. "It's over. Captain Buggy wants to." Kabaji and other pirates retreated tremblingly. What is shocking is that Buggy has a smile on his face. "My red nose. That's not a disease, but my pride. It was caught in the treasure box, so I was born to look for treasures." Hearing this, the boys looked in disbelief. Is this still their captain? "Hey, red nose." One of the pirates tried it, fearing that it was someone who had become. The clown Buggy's face darkened, and he took out a Buggy bomb and handed it to Kabaji. Kabaji breathed a sigh of relief after taking the Buggy bullet. Sure enough, he was still the familiar captain. "Captain, no." The guy begged for mercy in fear. Boom. Kurokas adjusted his reflective glasses and slowly said, "There must be bargaining chips in the transaction. What do you trade with?" Buggy was already prepared. He waved and Kabaji carried up 3 boxes, 1 box of alcohol, 1 box of tranquilizers, and 1 box of fine wine. Just as he liked, he knew that there was nothing that Kurokas cared about. Buggy wiped his hands with a flattering look on his face, and said cautiously, "Dr. Kulokas, a small thought cannot be disrespectful." "Look." Kurokas said disdainfully, "Humph, I don't care what you want to do, it's best not to cause trouble for me." Buggy nodded like crazy, "Yeah, I know, I just want to." They chose the Whiskey Peak route. Kurokas answered quickly. "Silence, silence is Cambridge tonight." Buggy pouted and looked constipated. Although he got what he wanted, why was he feeling so unhappy? He turned around and left. He didn't want to stay in this miserable place for a second. When he comes back, he will be a dog. By the way, I was playing with drifting bottles recently and picked up something similar to a treasure map. Are you interested? Kurokas said suddenly. Buggy's ears immediately stood up, and without stopping, his upper body floated back unconsciously. "Dear Dr. Kurokas, what are your orders?" Kurokas didn't even raise his head. "Help me inquire about a person. He seems to be from Konoha village." At this time, all members of the Straw Hat Pirates, who had rested for the night, had been resurrected, except for Avatar Chicken. When everyone is preparing to set sail, Zoro and Sanji recaptured their prey and compared the size of their prey, letting Usopp act as the referee. Under Usopp's measurement, there was not even a 1g difference. Sometimes there are things, God's arrangement is the best. "Hey, my head is obviously bigger." Zoro raised his eyebrows and stared with dissatisfaction on his face. "Nonsense. Green algae head, didn't you see that my tail is longer?" Sanji retorted, not to be outdone. The quarrel between the two intensified and they began to fight each other with knives. When the two giants, Dongli and Raji, witnessed this scene, they couldn't help but tilt their heads in thought at the same time, as if something crucial had quietly slipped away from their memories. Nami suddenly appeared, each with a chestnut, and said with a dark face, "Do you know that time is urgent? Why don't you hurry up and cook for me and take it back to the ship? Time waits for no one." After saying that, Nami looked at Luffy tiredly. "And you, idiot captain." She pointed to Chi Kong and Vivi, and urged Luffy, "If we don't set sail, Chi Kong and Vivi won't be able to wait any longer." Luffy curled his lips and turned to wave goodbye to Tori and Raji. "Then, giant uncles, we have to leave." Afterwards, Luffy sat firmly on his special seat, waved his hand enthusiastically, and shouted, "Yo-ho, friends, set sail, the target, Alabasta." When Dongli and Raji heard this, they looked at each other and smiled, showing their white teeth, and stood up together. "Come on, Brocky, let's see off these young friends together." "Can your body hold up, Dongli?" "No problem at all." Chapter 84 Farewell, Overlord. "Okay, just drive forward like this, and you will reach the seaport soon." Nami faced the sea breeze, gently pressed his forehead, and guided everyone in the direction. Luffy stood at the bow of the ship and saw the figures of Dolly and Raji appearing in front. "Look, the giant uncles are here to see us off, ha ha ha." The two giants turned their backs to Luffy and the others, and the sea breeze made their cloaks rustle. At the same time, both Zoro and Usopp on the deck felt something huge approaching. Buggy was the first to speak. You feel it too, friends. Then, Dongli took over the end of his words. Its appearance will be an obstacle to you. Nami didn't feel anything strange and asked in confusion, what happened in front? Dongli said loudly, you have defended our glory with all your strength. Buggy, so your enemies are also our enemies. Totally. We will never let our friends' pirate flags break. Brocky. So, friends, please trust us and move forward straight, no matter what happens. The two giants sang and harmonized, looking serious. Got it. Go straight ahead. Luffy was infected by the two people's emotions and gave the order while sitting in the special seat. I believe in you. Goodbye, senior. I will definitely become the greatest sea warrior. Usopp raised his arms and shouted towards the two giants. Zoro grabbed the rope on the side of the boat and looked at the boundless sea, puzzled. So, what is that huge thing? I hope we can meet again, Straw Hat. Dongli said with emotion. Definitely. I feel it. Buggy smiled. When they said this, the melee had already sailed out of the sea boundary of Xiaohuiyuan. Suddenly, the sea surface in front suddenly swelled, and the seawater poured down like an unfinished dam, and a bloody mouth suddenly appeared in the water. Look ahead, Nami exclaimed, pointing forward. As this behemoth broke out of the water, it caused a huge wave. It looked like it was many times bigger than Laboon. The waves swept over the melee, and everyone on the melee staggered around. Are you here, island-eating monster? In the name of Elbaf, we will open the way for you. At this time, Kang, who was dying in the cabin, sat up in shock, as if his sanity had temporarily returned. He overturned the porridge bowl next to him and moved to the den on the deck with difficulty. What are you doing, you damn fisherman? Don't waste food, lick it clean for me. Sanji was about to get angry, but Vivi stopped him. Stop, Sanji, he is a patient, how can you treat him like this? Vivi defended Kang and refused to let Sanji get close. Fishing, crow, bait, Kang kept repeating. Kang's explanation sounded like Abba Abba in their ears. Nami on the Mary went crazy and shouted to Usopp. Turn the helm quickly, we will be swallowed whole by it. This is not a laboon, if it is eaten, it will only come out from the butt. Laboon is the size of a whale, which is reasonable, but this guy is a goldfish. Your goldfish has grown into the sea, why is it so big? Nami was dumbfounded. Usopp was a little dumbfounded when he looked at the goldfish and muttered, is this a goldfish? Is this AF G huge goldfish? In the adventure stories he told Kaya, he once boasted about this kind of bullshit. Me, Usopp is not bragging. Lousy has caught a whale as big as the island, and now he has seen a big goldfish that feeds on the island. Then the dream of a great warrior will surely come true. Hey, Usopp, hurry up, Nami shouted, drawing Usopp's attention back. But Usopp lowered his head and responded, no, Nami, I can't do that. He looked at Luffy with firm eyes. Go straight ahead, right, Luffy? Yeah, of course. Luffy was calm and showed no fear. Don't be ridiculous. This time is different from Laboon's time. Nami didn't understand what was wrong with Usopp, a coward, but she couldn't calm down. Luffy pressed his nose and took out a piece of pancake. Stop making noise, Nami, I'll give you the pancake. Shark teeth, Nami. Who wants to eat your pancakes? Do you have any sense of crisis? It's over. It's too late. Nami looked at the huge mouth with a decadent look on his face. He instinctively took a few steps back, and suddenly tripped over something soft and fell to the ground. Abba, who suppressed me? My legend. No. The island-eating monster bit into the small garden and swallowed up Melee in an instant. You're growing well, island-eater monster. Dongli and Buggy had a perfect tacit understanding, their muscles bulged, and they clenched their weapons with both hands. The weapons in their hands also contained strong will, and they swung the weapons behind them at the same time, ready to go. In the goldfish's mouth, Melee fell into darkness. Who the hell turned off the lights? Where's the fishing guy? Sanji looked confused. Forward, Mary, ×2, the two idiots Usopp and Luffy were still shouting. At this time, Vivi was holding on to the fence against a dark crow that was illuminated by strange light, and she shouted anxiously. Nami, have you seen Kang? He is determined to climb to the deck. The ship is shaking so hard, I'm afraid. Abba, Nami, your A** is crushing me. My golden legend. Outside world. I saw Dolly and Buggy's hands bulging with muscles, and they swung forward in synchrony to perform combined techniques. Dongli. The only thing that won't let us pass is the blood-stained snake. Brocky. Please take a look. The most powerful gun from Elbaf. Hegemony. ×2. With a loud noise that shook the earth, the weapons they had used for hundreds of years broke into powder. The strong shock wave tore a big hole in the belly of the goldfish monster, and the Melee took the opportunity to escape from the trap and return to the bright world. As Melee rushed out again, there was a blue sea ahead. Let's go, friends. Ha 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 ha. Dongli and Buggy raised their broken weapons and laughed and waved goodbye. Woo, ah, it's so high, it's flying out. Luffy sat on Mary's head, looking ahead with a smile on his face. Usopp burst into tears with excitement, even the sea split open. Is this the power of the Elbaf warriors? Zoro also murmured. Is this how to use hockey? If I could have this kind of power. Where's the damn fisherman? Eat all the porridge for me. Sanji held the bowl and looked around, but didn't find Kang, with a confused look on his face. Ah, Nami, Under your butt. Kang was made to cry by you. Vivi covered her mouth and shouted anxiously. Abba, Abba. Kang's words were unclear. He was still semi-conscious, with tears in his eyes, and his body was lying crookedly on the deck. His tears blended with the sea water and flowed into the endless depths of the sea. Yes, really. Nami felt that she could not exert any strength and fainted directly on Kang's back. Nami. Vivi hurriedly supported Nami and gently touched her forehead. A scorching temperature made Vivi's heartstrings tighten. She shouted to everyone. Something bad is going on, Nami is sick. What? The people watching were panicked, and Kang's treatment was very different. Sanji stuffed the porridge into Kang's mouth, immediately carried Nami into the room, put a frozen towel on her forehead, covered her eyes to suppress her sobs. And Kang. Dumb. Dark Crow stepped on Kang's head. At this time, he kept shaking his head. He was just lying on the deck all alone, and it looked like he would be able to set up a table in a few days. Chapter 85 The Straw Hat Group of Two Patients. Secure Asset Portal. Your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. After Vivi checked Nami's condition, she quickly asked, is there no one on the ship who knows medical skills? Medical skills. Luffy suddenly had a flash of inspiration and thought of Kang, and he rushed to the deck like a whirlwind. Kang. Wake up quickly, Nami is sick. Luffy grabbed Kang's neck very roughly and shook him. Kang. Wake up, it's time to eat. Luffy shook his head again. However, Luffy's response was Kang's loud, Abba, Abba. Phi. Not asterisk Abba. Suddenly, Kang began to form seals with his hands, as if he saw something terrifying. Zoro appeared in time, knocked Kang unconscious with a blow from the back of his knife, and made a timely rescue. Are you an idiot, Luffy? This is a patient too. Take him in quickly, and I feel it's best not to let him wake up. After Luffy heard this, he reluctantly dragged Kang's body into the room and expressed his opinions to everyone. I remember Kang asked Joseph to eat, and Joseph will be fine. Go make some meat, Sanji. Sanji bit his tie, tears welling up in his eyes, and cried, we call the patient just because we can't eat. When Luffy heard this, his eyes flashed with wisdom again, he clapped his hands and said. Then we just opened their mouths and put the meat in. That's what Joseph did at that time. Can this be the same? Usopp complained, but the topic changed. Maybe Kang can try it. Vivi took her temperature and found that Nami's fever had reached 40 degrees Celsius. She was still mumbling. Vivi was distracted by all the noise. Stop arguing. Don't disturb the patient. Let's go outside to discuss it. On the deck, Luffy looked at the cabin door with a confused look on his face. Is getting sick such a painful thing? Well, Sanji and Usopp tilted their heads at the same time. I've never been sick. ×2. Vivi looked at a cybernetic, a rubber man, and a flesh-suited ADC with a shocked look on her face. What kind of horrible creatures are you? Being sick is of course very painful, and a fever of 40 degrees can kill someone. Nami will die. ×3. What can we do? Doctor. Find a doctor and save Nami. Usopp and Luffy ran around the ship, shouting anxiously. No need to find a doctor. I'm okay. At this time, Nami's voice came from above. Everyone followed the sound and saw her leaning against the railing of the ship, holding a newspaper tightly in her hand. Although her face was pale, she still tried her best to hold on. Luffy's eyes widened with surprise. Nami. Your illness is cured. Nami was panting slightly, enduring the discomfort, feeling the pulsation of the wind, and said weakly, this wind is not right, adjust the course immediately and deviate from this direction. When Sanji heard this, he immediately Kaido, leave it to me. And not long after the melee deviated from its original position, a tornado with a diameter of 100 meters suddenly appeared behind it. The shocking scene was like the roar of nature, which was frightening. Only then did they realize that this was a great shipping route, and if they were not careful, they would become bones in the sea. The judgment that Nami showed shocked everyone's nerves, and they couldn't help but look at Nami in admiration. He was still able to feel the direction of the wind even though he was seriously ill. He was worthy of being their navigator. If this were delayed by a few seconds, the consequences would be disastrous. At this time, Zoro, who was holding the rope, said seriously, Nami, please tell us the direction of our sailing first. I will watch while you go back and rest. Although Zoro didn't say anything unnecessary, Nami felt his concern. However, Nami did not respond to Zoro, but handed the newspaper to Vivi with a voice as thin as a gossamer. 3 days ago. Vivi, I'm sorry, I was afraid that you would be worried, so I hid this newspaper. We will arrive at Alabasta as quickly as possible and reveal Crocodile's true face. Usopp worriedly reminded his best friend. Nami, if you don't go to the doctor, you will die. Nami smiled indifferently, with a hint of stubbornness in his weakness. You don't know medical skills, so don't worry about it. Didn't Kang hold on until now? Before she finished speaking, she suddenly covered her chest and gasped violently. Vivi, it's up to you, I seem. Before Nami could finish her words, she fainted again. Nami. Sanji quickly stepped forward and caught her firmly, biting his tie with a look of grief on his face. Usopp bit his finger and exclaimed. Nami won't die like this, right? Luffy also looked sad and cried. No, Nami, we need you, don't leave us. Idiot. Send Nami back to the house first. Vivi was furious. After settling Nami, Vivi wiped the sweat from her forehead before opening the newspaper. The contents of the newspaper made Vivi's face change suddenly, and she shouted to everyone, "I must go back to Alabasta as soon as possible. Go back as fast as possible." However, when Luffy and others looked at Vivi, they had mixed feelings in their hearts. Nami is almost dead. Are you being a little ignorant if you still want to go to Alabasta? Dumb. Dumb. The Dark Crow's cry came from the room, seeming to be complaining about the injustice of the owner, or maybe it was something else. Vivi bit her lip tightly, holding back tears, and continued. So, we must find an island with a doctor, cure Nami and Kang's condition as soon as possible, and then sail straight to Alabasta. She paused and said firmly, "This is the fastest speed that the melee can currently reach, right?" After everyone heard this, they felt relieved, but their faces were heavy. Can Nami persevere? Quick Run suddenly appeared, pointing to the smoking room, sweating profusely. Sanji looked at the room and was so shocked that his cigarette dropped to the floor. Did the damn fisherman wake up again? He wouldn't have set the room on fire. Not good. Miss Nami. Sanji disappeared in a flash. In desperation, he actually used shaving. Usopp's face was filled with horror. Mary was going to be burned. Look for water, Luffy. A crazy ninja is too scary. Luffy became anxious and buried his head in the water. Rubber water pump. Luffy. Usopp pulled the water ball Luffy onto the deck and shouted angrily, "As a devil fruit user, you actually drink sea water. Are you crazy?" There was a lot of excitement on board the melee. Vivi held her forehead and clenched her fists unconsciously. After taking charge, she finally realized Nami's powerlessness. She picked up the chart without any distractions and began to analyze it quickly. "Mr. Zoro, follow my command and move in this direction. Remember to adjust the direction at any time." After saying that, she turned around and returned to the cabin. There were many bosses on the ship, and she had to take care of 2 patients personally. Zoro looked at the clouds in the sky and looked confident. Vivi never thought about the consequences of letting Zoro see the ship's course. Zoro, concern and wanderlust are the only things he refuses to admit. Chapter 86 Drum Island. The melee sailed in the vast sea for a whole day, but still did not see any trace of the island. Luffy was restless and looked into the distance. "Why can't you see the island? Is it the wrong direction? Or the chart is wrong?" Sanji asked. Zoro was also full of doubts. "I am definitely going in the right direction." Usopp did not find the target. Report completed. Vivi looked at the calm weather outside, sweat dripping from her forehead, and suddenly began to doubt herself. "If we really went in the wrong direction, I wouldn't know where we are now without reference. I hope it's just a matter of distance." Suddenly, snowflakes floated in the sky. Vivi held the snowflakes in her hands, and her eyes flashed with surprise. No. The destination should be Spring Island. Why is it snowing? She compared the charts repeatedly, and the confusion in her heart became more and more intense. What exactly went wrong? Vivi has no idea about Zoro's terror, and the only person who can think of whose fault it is Abba. Because the magnetic field of the Grand Line is chaotic, the course is now messed up, and there is no reference. At least, Vivi doesn't know where they are. Dumb. Merc Crow is playing happily with Run Fast. Luffy seemed to have thought of something and grabbed Dark Crow with a sincere look in his eyes. "Dark Crow, I will give you all my flesh and tell us the location of the island. Without a doctor, Nami will die." Zoro mocked. "You fool, how could Dark Crow find it?" However, Dark Crow tilted his head and looked at Luffy, then looked down upon Zoro and fluttered his wings. Not long after, the Dark Crow returned, took the meat from Walking Flyer's hand in one mouthful, and then stood on his special seat, pointing in one direction with its wings. Dumb. How is that possible? The 4 people said in unison, surprised. The Dark Crow raised his head disdainfully, as if to say, "Lousy can fly and can see far. Okay, kids, go straight in this direction," Luffy ordered excitedly. "If this is true, I won't use you as a reserve food in the future." Sanji raised his leg and swore. At this time, Vivi may have noticed something was wrong and said, "Zoro, please let me take the helm." "Whatever." Zoro jumped to the observation deck and stared straight ahead. In front of the Sig Island, Melee quickly approached. "There really is an island. Dark Crow, you are amazing." Dumb. Quack. "Great, there is an island, Nami is saved." Vivi said happily, looking at the winter island in front of her that looked like a mountain like a drum. "It's a white island. There's so much snow." Luffy was extremely excited. Sanji held Kang's head covered with buns, sighed and warned. "Let's make an agreement first, Luffy. We went to the island to treat Miss Nami, and we can't accompany you on the adventure." Usopp saw the snow, but thought of the snow demon. "Then I thought about what to do if Nami got a disease that prevents her from going to the island. Ever since, I may also be sick, and I have a disease that will kill you if you land on the island. Usopp arrives with a recurrence of his old illness. You are the only one suffering from this disease, Usopp." Zoro shouted angrily. The tense atmosphere was resolved by the 2 idiots, and everyone was no longer so agitated. Soon, the melee sailed into the coastal entrance of Sugu Island. Seeing the ferocious residents on both sides, everyone on the melee couldn't help but become nervous. "Don't move, pirate," the person who seemed to be the leader on the shore shouted. If Kang was still conscious, he would definitely know that this was Dalton, the former chief guard of the Sigu kingdom who had eaten the Niu fruit. Pirates, get out of this country, you are not welcome here. If you get closer, we'll shoot. At this time, Luffy shouted to the front. Our partner is sick, and we are looking for a doctor. However, the people below were furious. Shameless pirate's trick. Get out, or I'll blow up your ship. Regardless of Luffy and the others, they will definitely land on the island, even if it means violence. At this moment, everyone was on edge. Seeing that the melee continued to approach, everyone on the island began to threaten. Bang! A bullet hit Vivi's arm. Luffy and the others were just about to get angry. No, Vivi stopped everyone. Luffy, everyone. So what if we win? Then who will save Nami? Then, Vivi made a plop, fell to her knees, hit her forehead on the deck, and said sincerely. We really just want to find a doctor. Our companions are suffering from illness. It doesn't matter what happens to me. Please save them. When Luffy saw Vivi like this, hesitation and confusion flashed through his mind. Finally, he also knelt down. Sorry, I was wrong. Luffy's straw hat fell to the deck and rolled continuously, finally stopping in front of the two of them. Please save our companions, please. With one piece as his goal, he put down his dignity for the sake of his companions. This scene surprised all the crew members. The scene suddenly fell into dead silence, including the people below. Are these people really pirates? This question rang in everyone's mind. Maybe it was sincerity that moved the other person, or maybe it was something else. The leader, Dalton, put away his musket, but stared at the blue-haired girl. He was silent for a moment, exhaled a white breath, and said, Come over here. The villagers hesitated for a while. If anything happens, I, Dalton, will be responsible for it alone. I trust them, that's all. Thank you. You are a good person. Vivi and Luffy both had smiles on their faces. I'll give you a piece of advice, there is only one doctor in our country. Dalton said without looking back. Inside the house. Why is there only one doctor? Usopp was puzzled. Dalton began to talk about the tragic history of this country, and looked at Vivi intentionally or unintentionally. This country used to be called the Drum Kingdom. It was also one of the countries that joined the world government and was famous for its medical treatment. Valpo issued a decree 8 years ago, and after selecting 20 doctors, he executed other doctors. Since then, these 20 doctors have only served King Valpo. If someone wants to be treated by a doctor, they can only choose to kneel down and beg Valpo. Later, there was only one doctor on the island, and this doctor was the old witch who lived for nearly 140 years, Dr. Kuleha. Because the Blackbeard pirates attacked this place, and then Valpo, the former king, became a pirate again, so the place is also very hostile to pirates. Even the king abandoned this place, so the citizens of this country call it, the country without a name. The witch lives on the top of the mountain, in the castle that originally belonged to our king. Dalton pointed to Sugu Mountain and continued. She has a weird personality, and we can't inform her. The witch's method of consultation is to come down regularly, and the reward for treatment is to take away all the things that the patient likes from his home. After he finished speaking, he waited for the Straw Hat's reaction. When Usopp heard, all, and, take it away, he was the first to ask, will Nami agree to the treatment? As a result, Sanji kicked Kang towards Usopp, who was about to wake up, and said angrily, Idiot. People are going to die, what's the use of those things? That's Miss Nami. Hey, Sanji, how could you treat Kang like this? Vivi looked angry. Luffy looked out the window at the nearly 4,000-meter high mountain and said seriously, It's decided, take Nami and Kang to find her for treatment. The captain ordered. Finally Vivi, Zoro, ran fast to see the boat. Luffy, Sanji, Dark Crow, Usopp, 3 people and 1 crow took 2 patients to climb a mountain. Chapter 87 Creatures in the Snowy Mountains, Labang. Originally, according to the plan, Vivi, Luffy, and Sanji were supposed to climb Sugu Mountain together, but this time Usopp volunteered. Usopp, who is usually timid, volunteered for the first time this time. This sudden change surprised others. There's a bear, hurry up and pretend to be dead. Usopp suddenly shouted, then rolled his eyes exaggeratedly and fell on the snow. Everyone looked up and saw a huge polar bear walking leisurely in the distance, holding a cane in his hand and strolling leisurely. Oh, it's a picnic bear. Dalton smiled and said, This bear is not dangerous. Just remember the etiquette of climbing. Nod to each other after meeting. After saying that, Dalton and the others nodded towards the bear, and the picnic bear turned around and nodded in return. Dum. The dark crow flapped its wings and elegantly arranged its black feathers like a wizard's hat. Luffy threw Kang away, his eyes shining. There is such a gentleman bear. It looks like a dark crow. Let's capture him and make him a partner. Usopp's legs kept shaking and he said, Compared to bears, I prefer reindeer, they are much gentler. Sanji was already extremely anxious, and now he was even more furious when he saw his friends distractedly discussing pet issues. Miss Nami's situation will be dangerous if she waits any longer. You still want to find a pet? Are you stupid? Hurry up and leave. Yes, ×2. After being scolded by Sanji, the group walked for a while. There was no road in the snowy mountain, and Dalton stopped. I can only send you here. You should be careful about a creature called Laban later on. It is a kind of white rabbit. If you see them, you'd better not hesitate and run quickly. Thank you, Kind uncle. Luffy and Dalton waved goodbye. Usopp and Luffy roughly pulled Kong towards the snowy mountain, one on the left and the other on the right. Dumb. Dark Crow followed closely. Be careful, Luffy. Don't let the fishing guy wake up. Sanji felt so tired, tightened his grip on Nami on his back, and rushed over quickly. Miss Nami, you must hold on. Feeling the warmth coming from his back, he muttered in his heart, his face full of worry. Dalton watched the straw hats disappear at the end of the snow-capped mountains and murmured. What a special group of pirates, and even the Princess of Alabasta is on board, it's incredible. Dalton was lost in memories. Time goes back to Vivi's childhood, when she accompanied her father Cobra to attend world government meetings. During this period, King Valpo of the Drum Kingdom was criticized by Cobra for his disagreement and deliberately bumped into Vivi when he left the meeting. Vivi knew very well that on such an international stage, any minor friction could turn into a conflict between countries. In order to prevent innocent people from the two countries from being involved in the dispute, she endured the severe pain and bowed her head to apologize to Valpo. After Valpo left, Vivi could not suppress her tears and burst into tears. Dalton happened to witness all this at the time, and Vivi's maturity and forbearance beyond her years left a deep impression on him. It was clearly only afternoon, but Sugu Island was covered with frost by the early dusk. The snow-capped mountains covered in silver echoed with howls of wolves in the silence, which made Usopp regret it instantly. It didn't take long before the wolf was encountered, and then everyone encountered a few white rabbits blocking the way. This was Labang. Labang said they were rabbits, and they did look like bears. They were carnivores and had high attack power. The key was a certain amount of intelligence. This is the Labang that Dalton was talking about. It looks so scary. Why are there rabbits as big as bears? Are the reindeer here also like bears? Usopp's timidity has returned. Dark Crow landed on top of Usopp's head and stared at the rabbits seriously. Don't block the road, rabbit, Luffy said angrily and punched out. Sanji's face was also full of anxiety, because every minute and every second was related to Nami's safety, so he raised his legs with a look on his face. Get out of here, you stinky rabbit. If you delay Miss Nami's treatment, I will make you into a rabbit head. Sanji's roar even touched the unconscious Kong at Luffy's feet, and his fingers trembled slightly. Similar to the Kung Fu manatee, Labang is also a social animal that only respects the strong. Living in groups is the key. So, wow. With a sound, a group of rabbits gathered around. It's time to fight. Rubber pistol. Luffy punched a Laban away. Usopp, keep an eye on Ms. Nami and the fishing guy. We will resolve the battle in 5 minutes. Yes. Promise to complete the mission. Usopp promised. Sanji lit a cigarette, and after a burst of roar, an afterimage was left on the spot. His figure instantly appeared behind a tall Laban. Fried meat kick. Luffy and Sanji started punching and kicking each other. But if you mess with one Laban, there will be swarms of Labans behind you. Labang, so gang up. The war situation intensified. At this time, a Laban hidden in the snowdrift quietly launched a surprise attack and headed straight for Usopp. Dumb. The Dark Crow stretched out its wings and pointed at Labang, and let out a special scream. The Labang was suddenly attracted by the cry of the Dark Crow, and strangely turned to attack the Dark Crow. The Dark Crow flew gracefully, spinning around Labang at high speed, and finally landed on Labang's shoulder. Can Labang endure this? It punched the Dark Crow. Black energy surged around Dark Crow, and Labang's fist involuntarily moved towards his head. Boom. I killed myself. Labang fell to the ground in confusion. Usopp on the side looked surprised, turned around and hit a fire star, completely losing the combat effectiveness of Labang who was attacking by surprise. Awesome. Dark Crow. Usopp saw the Dark Crow in this state for the first time. Dumb. Dark Crow looked at Usopp with a look of disgust. Dark Crow, what do you mean by this expression? Usopp asked. Dark Crow ignored Usopp, his whole body glowed, and a ray of light hit another Laban. This Labang was dizzy after being hit by the light, and punched the person next to him. Usopp seized the opportunity and fired 2 fire stars. Well done. We worked together so well. Dark Crow. Dark Crow seemed to be so impressed by Usopp's praise that he began to show off his skills. The darkness was a good opportunity for a sneak attack. The black energy of the Dark Crow surged, and a huge Dark Crow demonic shadow enveloped everything. This scene made the guys in the melee stunned, and they were all instinctively shocked. However, the guys in the brawl soon returned to normal. Stars popped out of Usopp's eyes. If Luffy wasn't busy fighting, he would probably come over and say, "It's time. I think it's too worthless for you to be Kang's pet, so hang out with me." After hearing this, Dark Crow pecked and attacked with his wings. This time it was Usopp. Who are you talking about? Usopp, with a bruised nose and face, begged for mercy. Uncle Crow, I will mess with you from now on. Don't fight me anymore. The Dark Crow screamed arrogantly, raised its head, and landed gracefully on top of Usopp's head. It waved its wings and waved out a hurricane, raising the wind and snow, blowing the Labans to and fro. Experience value plus 10. Experience value plus 10. Dumb. When Dark Crow was happy, the ground suddenly shook. What? Is it an earthquake? Usopp turned his head and looked over, his expression suddenly turning frightened. Avalanche. Chapter 88 The Great Fire is extinguished. Furious, the massive Labangs jumped up and down, their vibrations causing an avalanche. The snow wave was like a violent white torrent, rolling in. Luffy's eyes instantly shrank, he turned back and shouted anxiously to Usopp and Sanji. No matter what, we must protect Nami and Kang. As he finished speaking, he seemed to have made an important decision. Luffy gave the order, and Sanji also knew that the situation was urgent. He wiped the blood from his forehead, moved back to Usopp, and first picked up Nami. Then, in this tense atmosphere, he suddenly discovered a suffocating problem. Hey, Usopp, where's the dead fisherman? Usopp was confused at this time. Isn't Kang on the ground? Ah, where's Kang? Usopp looked horrified and looked at the original place, only to see the footprints on the snow in a mess. Dumb. At this time, Dark Crow pointed at Kang dancing on the stone opposite. Sanji couldn't help but feel nervous, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Oops. The damn fisherman actually woke up. The situation is so chaotic. At such a critical moment, it can only be said that Kang woke up at the wrong time. Kang was dizzy at this time and saw that the world was colorful. Suddenly, he saw a large group of green bear-like waves approaching. It was obviously a wave of bears. Abba. As he muttered randomly, Kang seemed to have entered another state, and his hands began to form seals slowly and seriously. Kang took a deep breath, and a flame accumulated in his throat. With his head feeling dizzy, Kang staggered and fell towards Sanji and Usopp. It's over. Kang went crazy again. Usopp covered his head, ran left and right, and yelled. Sanji sensed that the fire that was about to erupt contained a dangerous aura, and teleported to Kang in horror. Squirt over there. B**********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************e kicked him back to the right track with a roundhouse kick. Kang spits out a huge amount of flames to the ground ahead. The moment the flames touched the icy snow, it evaporated the snow into a white curtain of steam almost in the blink of an eye. When Kang's head turned uncontrollably again, Sanji's quick eyesight and quick hands tightly clamped his swaying body. You must not let this flame point at your companions. This is what Sanji is thinking. At that moment, the flames spurting out from Kang's mouth were as overwhelming as the ocean, lighting up the night sky of Sugu Island. The blazing red light was like a tsunami in the mountains and forests, attracting the attention of the entire island. Usopp suddenly thought of something and shouted with a pale face, "No. Luffy, get out of the way." Luffy was chewing his fingers carefully, filling his body with air, and preparing to blast the avalanche. Hearing Usopp's shout and the hot temperature coming from behind, he turned around in confusion. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it, your eyes almost fall to the ground when you look at them. Oh my god. The moment the flames swept across, Luffy disappeared instantly with a swish. On the line between life and death, he used the short-term hyperplasia pump to use shaving, and disappeared in an instant. Then, where he stood, a huge block of snow collided violently with the scorching flames. The sparks caused by the collision splashed and hissed. The snowflakes melted when exposed to fire, turning into water droplets and instantly vaporizing into steam. Sanji, 1, must hold his head. No. Don't let him look back. Usopp looked at Kang like a god, trembling. Kang, who was in a coma, released ninjutsu with all his strength for the first time. He unconsciously invested all the chakra in his body and used the sentencing level, high fire extinguishing. Usopp also saw the terror of ninjas for the first time. Kang actually blocked the natural disaster with one person. Dalton was closest to the snow-capped mountains. He just started to feel the earth shaking, and instantly realized a possibility. Have you met Labang? There was concern in his tone. Then, rolling snow waves poured down from the top of the mountain, and he was dumbfounded. Such a huge amount of snow. The Labans actually resorted to the method of destroying both the jade and the stone. What did you do to Laban? Straw hats. Dalton's face was more than surprised, and even had a hint of accusation. He didn't have time to think about it and ran quickly towards the village. An avalanche of this size might affect the village. Then, he saw something again. A wall of fire surged out like a wave, instantly cutting off the snow waterfall sweeping down from the sky. The flame formation was as vast as a sea of fire, but as solid as a rock, like a sharp nail, steadily resisting the avalanche heading towards the village. But Kang accidentally saved the village. Sweat beaded on Dalton's forehead. Sure enough, he is a different kind of pirate. I didn't expect us to dare to intimidate such a guy just now. This scene of the collision of fire and snow gave him a new understanding of the strength of the straw hats. Aboard the Mary, Zoro, look over there. Vivi anxiously pointed to the foot of Sugu mountain range in the distance, where flames were rising, reflecting the night sky. Zoro frowned and said, with such powerful flames, did they wake up the bald man? These idiots. You said Kang did this. Vivi looked in disbelief. Did they encounter something? Or, Vivi did not say whether Kang was ill, but said with worry on her face, they will be fine. Don't worry. Don't underestimate Luffy and Sanji. After saying that, Zoro suddenly took off his clothes. This move caused Vivi's cheeks to turn red instantly, and she said angrily, Zoro, what are you doing? Zoro walked to the deck alone. I'm going to train. Wouldn't it be nice if a bald guy overtakes me? Just hearing a plop, Vivi watched Zoro jump into the sea, apparently about to take a winter swim. Vivi paced back and forth for a while, still a little worried about Luffy and the others. So, she was going to ask Dalton for information about the witch. Run fast. Follow me. Seeing that Karu Duck was still sleeping soundly, Vivi sighed. Forget it, you'd better watch the ship. On the towering peak of Sugu Island, on the edge of the cliff, a petite, civet cat, is lying there innocently. In fact, this little animal is not a real civet cat, but a reindeer wearing a cute pink top hat and a blue nose. It looks really cute. If Kang saw it, he would definitely recognize this guy, the mascot doctor, Chopper. Chopper's bright eyes flashed with doubts, and he tried his best to see clearly what was going on down the mountain through the heavy wind and snow. Due to the extremely high altitude and the raging snowstorm that obscured the view, it could only vaguely feel a moist vapor rising slowly. Chopper opened his legs nervously and ran back to the castle. Chapter 89 Octopus Shoes, Witch and Reindeer. Secure Asset Portal. Your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Chopper returns to the castle. Mother Dr. Doriel, there seems to be movement at the bottom of the mountain. Is it that Valpo and the others are back? In front of Chopper, an old woman wearing a fashionable navel-bearing dress and with a body maintained like a young girl was sitting on a wooden chair with her legs crossed leisurely. This old woman is the witch, Drive. Kurha, a doctor who is both good and evil. The old woman picked up the wine bottle beside her, took 2 sips of plum wine, and then replied calmly. Huh, it's not that idiot Valpo, it's just the Labans making trouble down there. Although Kurha didn't see it, Chopper instinctively believed it with that look that seemed to see through everything. Then, Kuleha set her sights on the little reindeer. My silly son, have you finished the book I asked you to read? Chopper was shocked. Ah, Dr. Doriel, I'll go right away. I will definitely finish reading it today. After Chopper left, Kuleha took a sip of wine and chewed on some salty prunes. What a fun group of guys. At the foot of the mountain. Hey, Kang, are you healed? Luffy ran over to check with an innocent look on his face. However, at this time, after Kang released the powerful fire and extinguished it, smoke kept coming out of his mouth, and he was about to faint to the ground as soon as he rolled his eyes. The depletion of chakra makes it lose its barrier to toxin attack. With quick eyesight and quick hands, Sanji and Luffy caught Kang's crumbling body. At this time, Usopp also discovered that Kang's body changed like an avatar, because even his nostrils grew colorful nose hairs. Hey, Luffy, something's wrong with Kang's body. Seems like he can't bear it anymore. We have to hurry up. If everyone thought Kang's problem was not serious before, now they are completely panicked when they see this appearance. So, several people came to the foot of Sugu Mountain in a hurry. Looking at the hill that had no slope and was like an iron barrel, Sanji swallowed a gulp of saliva. So, friends, come on, Luffy ordered. Sanji looked at the hand he was using for cooking, tightened his grip on Nami, took a deep breath of cigarette, and seemed to have made up his mind. Just as Luffy and Sanji were preparing to climb the mountain wall, Usopp mysteriously revealed his secret weapon, a few octopus shoes. He held his head high, his face filled with expectation and pride, and said, Is there anyone willing to call me Uncle Usopp? I can lend you a pair of octopus shoes. Usopp looked proud. After seeing the appearance of Sugu Mountain, he thought of his little invention. He took the initiative and did not expose this tool during the whole process, just for this moment. This kind of blockbuster pleasure. Usopp looked like he was about to praise me, but then he saw Sanji coming over with a dark face. Octopus. I call you Octopus. Climb away, you idiot. Sanji just scolded Usopp. Is now the time to play. It's because of the octopus that Kang is like this. If Kang is still here, he doesn't have to hurt his hand at all, so. Sanji's hatred for octopuses was shared by Usopp. Usopp, who had been exported for a while, was sweating profusely, holding up his octopus shoes, and explained humbly. Octopus shoes are wall climbing tools developed based on Kang's wall climbing method. They are an invention specially used for this type of terrain. After hearing this, Sanji and Luffy's eyes lit up. They each took a pair of shoes and couldn't wait to put them on. Luffy was the first to try. He stepped on the cliff and shouted excitedly, Wow, you can really stick to the wall. Usopp is so powerful. I am a ninja too. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up. There's no time to waste. After saying that, Sanji quickly ran up the cliff with a long-lost smile on his face. Watching his friends drift away, Usopp burst into tears. I'm not pretending. Dumb. Dark Crow pecked Usopp's head. Ah, Uncle Dark Crow, I'll climb up right away. Usopp covered his head and rushed up to the drum mountain. The wind and snow were blowing hard on everyone, and altitude sickness made him almost breathless. He, specifically refers to Usopp. Usopp, I'm lucky to have you. Sanji in front said without looking back. Sanji used to think that Usopp was a little transparent, but now he has a new understanding of Usopp. Without this invention, he could not imagine the suffering of this trip. Although Usopp was out of breath, he immediately became energetic after enjoying the compliments from his partners. Of course, don't look at who I am. I am a great pirate recognized by the soldiers of Elbaf, and the giants are all my partners. Dark Crow, however, flew to Luffy's head with a disgusted look on his face. Haha, of course Usopp is the best partner. Ho ho, go faster, kids, I feel like I'm about to reach the top. Luffy, wearing octopus shoes and carrying Kang, suddenly accelerated. Not long after, Luffy jumped up, threw Kang away, and declared loudly, Number 1. I am number 1. Luffy looked like this, and those who didn't know it seemed like he had won the first place in the update. Behind him came Sanji's anxious roar, "Idiot Luffy. Go find the doctor quickly, it's not about who gets there first." Dumb. Dumb. The dark crow flew from Luffy's head and landed on the head of a confused little guy. At this time, frightened and pure voices sounded one after another. "It says it's number 1. Ah, who are you? Ah, what's wrong with this person? Wow, you're poisoned. Doctor. Find a doctor quickly." Luffy looked at this little guy and stretched out his hands like a fool, while his eyes shone with an unscientific light. "Ah, help. What are you going to do?" So Luffy chased and Chopper ran. At this time, Sanji kicked Luffy away. "Idiot. Get a doctor quickly. Why are you chasing food?" Chopper saw the look in Sanji's eyes and was even more frightened to death. "Ah, it's so scary. Dr. Doriel, help me. Dumb. Dumb." In the palace, Kuleha listened to the description of the patient's condition. A girl with a bacterial infection, and a boy who was suspected of suffering from both biological toxins and fungal infections. Yes, Dr. Doriel, Dark Crow is their partner. They said they went to the ancient island to play, and the man ate something poisonous while fishing. Dumb. Dumb. Chopper was holding some things that were about to rot and go bad. Blue tentacles, purple tissue, colored seaweed. When Kuleha saw this group of things, she almost spit out a mouthful of wine. She recognized these things at a glance, which would kill anyone who touched them. Blue-ringed poisonous octopus, purple-capped spiny jellyfish, Madara water-streaking mushroom. Eat so many extinct poisonous things at once. Kuleha took a deep breath and said, "If you don't check the information even if you have a sample, what are you doing here watching me?" Xiaoba asked anxiously, "Dr. Doriel, do you want me to treat you?" "But I have only been practicing for 2.5 years. Kuleha interrupted Chopper directly, "I'll leave this boy to you. In short, it doesn't matter if he dies. I'll go see the girl." After saying that, Kuleha drank the wine and left leisurely. After the old witch left, Dark Crow and Chopper communicated. "Dumb. Dumb. Don't worry, I will definitely save your comrades. Dark Crow. Dumb. Dumb. It's annoying. I'm not that powerful. Dumb. Dumb. Are we good friends? Then can you tell me your story?" Dumb. Dumb. Chopper and Dark Crow communicated without any barriers while walking towards the infirmary. Chapter 90. Both wake up. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. When Kang woke up, the first thing he saw was the unfamiliar ceiling. When he wanted to get up, he felt dizzy and the world seemed to be swaying before his eyes. After a while, the vision gradually became clearer. Kang found himself in a single room. The ancient fireplace is set into the wall and does not fire. The table was covered with medical equipment and bandages and gauze. Kang looked at the environment and roughly guessed the location at this time. "It's the food that's the problem, not my thunderous cooking skills, right?" He began to look at his body. At this time, his whole body is covered with bandages, and he looks like a second Tsuchikage Nu. If you give him a big sword, you can directly cosplay Momochi Zabuza. Broken bones, strained muscles. Shouldn't I be poisoned? Why do I feel like I was beaten? At this moment, a familiar and noisy voice came from outside the door. "Meat. Don't let the meat escape. Dark Crow, Captain Usopp orders you to catch that little guy quickly." "Ah, don't catch me." In the corridor outside the door, a panicked voice was accompanied by rapidly approaching footsteps. The figure of the 3 idiots ran past Kang's door. It seemed that the one in front of him was the last idiot of the straw hats. "Dark Crow, please help me. I'm going to see your friends." Chopper asked for help from Dark Crow while running. After Dark Crow said, "Mute," twice, a blast of wind slapped Usopp and Luffy back. "Dark Crow, you actually rebelled. Unforgivable." When Luffy was angry, he suddenly saw that Kang was awake, and he suddenly smiled like sunshine. "Kang, you're finally awake. Do you want a piece of meat?" As he said that, Luffy took out a piece of meat from his pocket. "Is this meat too big? I want to eat rabbit heads now." Kang didn't know why he suddenly wanted to eat rabbit heads. Luffy didn't care and stuffed the meat into Kang's mouth. He had wanted to do this for a long time. "You can't be picky about food. Kang, only by eating meat can you feel better." Luffy shouted while forcefully feeding him, completely ignoring Kang's painful expression as he was almost choked. "Ah," Luffy suddenly flattened his head and successfully let Kang pull out the meat. "You can't bully patience, you be ***************. It turned out that Chopper turned into a strong snow monster and punched Luffy away. Weird. Monster. Usopp witnessed all this at the door and his legs were shaking with fear. When Chopper heard the name, Monster, his mood instantly dropped, and his depressed look startled Usopp again. After Luffy stood up, he suddenly rushed towards Chopper, his eyes shining with golden light. "Sky. Be my partner, Snow Monster." When Chopper saw Luffy flying towards him, his head was sweating and he quickly shrank to avoid the flying attack. "Usopp. Grab it." When Usopp saw little Chopper and felt that he was okay again, he felt like he was jumping around again. "Survived. This Luffy. I'm not a rubber man." Kang was breathing heavily, with a look of rejoicing on his face. "Ah Wei almost died. But I was also touched by Luffy's willingness to give him meat. That's meat." At this time, Sanji knocked politely and came in, holding a big plate in one hand. "Wake up, fisherman. How do you feel now? This is the spicy rabbit head you want." Kong sighed. Sanji was so considerate. It's okay. When there is no danger, Luffy is the biggest danger. With that said, Kong opened the lid of the pot, and there was a rabbit head as big as a football sitting there. Is this a rabbit head? It looks like a rabbit, but it can't be a duck neck anyway. This rabbit is not cute. No one should say it, right? But how to eat this? Kong gritted his teeth, grabbed the rabbit's head and started to chew on it. While chewing, he asked, is Nami sick too? Huh, Miss Nami is next door and hasn't woken up yet, but the old woman said it's okay. Sanji explained. By the way, look what that is. After saying that, Sanji's eyes flashed with excitement and he pointed at the ball outside the house. It turned out that Chopper had left Luffy and Usopp behind at some point and came back to check on his patient. Kong didn't expect that Sanji also had such a coquettish side. Could it be that he was also starting to become perverted? Sure enough, he is a member of my generation. Kong had a smirk on his face and raised his eyebrows knowingly. Is that a civet cat? I'm a reindeer. I'm a reindeer. B asterisk 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 D. Chopper revealed half of his body. Kaido was angry. Sanji chuckled and seemed to like watching little Chopper get frustrated. Okay, Kong, I'm going to find Miss Nami. Please help Luffy. He seems to be trying to pull this tanuki onto the ship. I think it's great. Sanji even scared poor Chopper when he left. Soon after, Chopper, who was scared away, came back cautiously and observed secretly. This strange appearance made Kong burst into laughter. Pay attention to the head rather than the tail, and avoid the first person in the opposite direction, Chopper. Kong chuckled. Thank you for saving me. How can a human thank me, idiot? And even if you thank me, I won't be happy, idiot. The little reindeer squirmed around with a look of joy on its face, demonstrating what it means to be incoherent. With this look, Kong just had to take a notebook and write it down to learn Albelo's new skills. Chopper carefully observed Kang's mental state and saw that Kong was not as perverted as the others, so he helped him change the bandage. Chopper asked weakly, aren't you afraid of me? Kong answered simply, what are you afraid of? If possible, I want to sleep with little Chopper in my arms. It's so soft. It must be so comfortable. What Kong said is true, he likes soft things like this. After hearing this, Chopper trembled 3 times and took a step back. I'm the blue-nosed reindeer. They all say I'm a monster. Kong smiled and explained patiently. That's all ignorance. It's just eating the devil fruit. In the sea outside, people with fruit abilities are like crucian carps crossing the river. How about it? Do you want to go out to sea and become a pirate to see the world? There was a yearning in Chopper's eyes, but he changed the subject and introduced himself. I am Tony Chopper, a doctor. Thank you for chatting with me. Kong grabbed Chopper, who was about to run away, and there was a burst of friction. I am Cool D. Kong, and I am a pirate. Hearing the word, pirate, Chopper felt very friendly. Dumb. Merker says he's jealous. Dumb. He called you an idiot. Kang's eyes lit up. Dark Crow translator. You can actually understand the Dark Crow's words. That's great. Chopper, you are so awesome. Kong praised. I hate it, even if you say so. Chopper was about to dance. At this time, he's here, Usopp, Luffy shouted. Suddenly, there was another burst of excitement. Another room. Nami woke up leisurely and looked at Sanji in front of him with a confused expression. Miss Nami, you finally woke up. I have been guarding you every step of the way. Get away. The snot is all stuck to me. At this time, Kuleha happened to enter the room and saw that Nami had woken up. She said, are you awake? You are quite energetic. I have to say that you are very lucky. Kuleha explained what the 5-day sickness was, which made Nami frightened. If her friends hadn't sent her here, she would have died. Thank you for saving me. Nami said sincerely. Kuleha waved her hand. You don't have to thank me. I want to repay you for saving you. By the way, I'm curious about how you got the virus. This virus only appears in primitive jungles, and your wound is near your belly button. Could it be that you were wearing midriff-bearing clothes in the ancient jungle? That should be impossible. Hearing this, Nami felt embarrassed. She was even more wild at that time, and she only wore a bra. Thinking of this, she thought that she must collect Kang's money. If her clothes hadn't been burned, how could she have gotten this disease? Doctor, there should be another patient here, right? Where are the others? Kuleha suddenly frowned and looked towards the door. At this time, Chopper walked into the room with a cute look on his face. Chapter 91 Chopper's Battle. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Just as Sanji was happily preparing to introduce this talking reindeer to Nami. However, Kuleha volleyed a kick directly at Chopper. Then in Kuleha's perception, Chopper grabbed a skeleton frame at an extremely fast speed, placed it in his place, and then quickly ran out of the door. Play in a fancy way. Bang. Kuleha hit Chopper perfectly with her kick. Everything happened in a flash, which scared Sanji out of his cigarette. And Nami saw a bang. A skeleton suddenly appeared. Chopper was kicked out of the air, and finally turned into a bandaged man. Kong stood up holding his stomach. This is the first time someone has seen through his ninjutsu transformation without knowing him well. Moreover, his final substitute technique uses the movement technique of shaving Plus, blinking technique, which can achieve the effect of high-speed movement. Even Zoro's current nerve reflexes may not be able to keep up with his speed. But, I was still kicked by this old witch. This old woman is indeed extraordinary. She might have been a big pirate in the past. Could this guy with such an evil aura be the legendary pirate group? Chi Kong thought wildly. Kuleha took a cool sip of wine, took out a salty prune and ate it, and then said. Very interesting magic show, boy. I am very familiar with my silly son, can I not tell the difference? Or do you think I am old? I am still in my youth. After saying that, Kuleha seemed to have thought of something and smiled slightly. Then, if you two are here, please pay. Then, I will take all the valuable things on your boat. Kuleha opened her mouth. As soon as this statement came out, it was like a bolt from the blue. Nami was instantly furious. Impossible. That's my money. Kurha smiled coldly and put a scalpel against Nami's neck. Do you think I'm joking? Give me money. Or give me your life. The cold touch came, and Nami took a breath. This guy didn't seem to be joking. Miss Nami. Let go of Miss Nami. Just give us our money. Sanji looked anxious. As a gentleman, he couldn't lift his proud right foot. Kuleha calmed down and ate a salted prune, took another sip of wine, turned around and kicked Sanji while laughing. There was a loud boom, and poor Sanji was kicked out of the door like a kite with a broken string. In an instant, the door was smashed into pieces. Kuleha scolded. Get out of here, you be asterisk 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 D. Didn't I tell you that smoking is not allowed in the patient's room? Chi Kong swallowed, and Sharingan watched carefully, not understanding why this 140-year-old old woman was so awesome. Here, just give you the money, let's go get it. Nami saw that his own combat power was easily defeated, and he was ready to give in. Of course, it is impossible to give money, just run away. Vivi is still waiting for them. Kuleha took back the scalpel and said calmly, ask that guy who cooks delicious food to get it. Your illness is not cured yet. Nami immediately retorted. My fever has gone away, my partner has very important things to do, and we don't have time to delay. Result. Kuleha put the scalpel against Nami's neck again and warned her that there was only one way to get out of here, except to completely recover from her illness. The four black brothers carried it and played music and rocked it at the same time. Chi Kong pointed at Kuleha, with a playful smile on his lips. Then it would be great if there was a ship doctor to take care of us. Then don't blame me. Before he finished speaking, Luffy came out from nowhere, pushed Chi Kong away, and said to Kurha. Be our ship's doctor, old lady. Bang. Poor Wang Lufei was also kicked away and fell to the ground, with nosebleeds. Armed color. Definitely armed color. Kuleha corrected angrily. I'm only 139 years old. What should you call me? And that kid with the slingshot, please be careful. Yes, sister. Usopp saluted and disappeared from the door. Nami's eyes jumped wildly. Kuleha's fighting power was indeed terrifying. All the Straw Hats were defeated except Zoro. Although Luffy was bruised and swollen, he still stood up stubbornly and shouted, I don't care. We don't have a ship's doctor. I want you to be my partner. Kuleha couldn't stand it anymore. Is this brown candy? Go away, you brat. I have no interest in the sea. Being a pirate will only waste my time. Find someone else. Luffy insisted. It doesn't matter if you are not interested, let's go on an adventure together. Old lady, the sea is very interesting. Chi Kong swallowed again. Luffy has no brain at all. Kuleha has already warned him. Boom. Ah, the results can be imagined. Wang Lufei has a good trip. At this time Chi Kong finally had a chance to speak. Then don't blame me. Dr. Kurha, the reindeer is ours. Kuleha was tired, but fortunately this guy seemed to have some brains. Kuleha said calmly. His name is Chopper. What he said is true, but it depends on your ability. He has suffered a lot of heartache. After saying that, Kuleha drank her wine and walked away coldly, walking quickly. How afraid was she of Luffy? Okay, Nami, you rest first, I will figure out a solution. Since Nami is inconvenient, Nanny Chi Kong begins to appear. Hey, you can do whatever you want. Nami said and lay down to rest. She was indeed still very tired. Chi Kong already has a plan. He walked up to Luffy and Sanji, woke them up with several big fights, and together with Usopp, began to formulate the Chopper capture operation. Chopper's battle 1. The moonlit night falls and the bonfire is lit. Chopper was attracted by the bonfire in the darkness and hid at the door against the dark crow. Today is Usopp's bragging session, telling about his experiences as a pirate. That's a big elephant, hundreds of times bigger than Poseidon. There's a group of talking monsters living on top of the elephant. The bad guy said to pull the ship over. Humph. How could Captain Usopp do that? I was afraid, so I went alone. Chopper listened very carefully and was deeply attracted by the story described by Usopp. Is there a place like this on the sea? Are they all monsters like me? Dumb. Usopp's voice continued. I shouted loudly and let go of that flag. It is a symbol of life for pirates. No one can break it. Chopper listened attentively and murmured. However, pirates are really free, and I really want to be a pirate. Dumb. Usopp became more and more excited as he talked and began to dance. I aimed my slingshot at the flying masked man. I said no. The lion man is my partner. Unless you step on my body, you will die. Likewise, Chopper became more and more fascinated as he listened. He unconsciously approached the bonfire and quietly hid behind the rocks. Partner. I really want to have a partner. Chopper murmured, looking at the pirate flag on the castle and slowly falling into memories. As soon as he was born, Chopper was regarded as an alien because of his blue nose. He was often isolated from his own kind and could only follow the reindeer herd at a distance. Later, it accidentally ate a devil fruit, animal-type human fruit some form. The nightmare has begun. Because he is no longer purely a reindeer nor a human being, he has been ostracized and attacked by both groups. When the reindeer see it, they attack in groups, and when humans see it, they just want to shoot and drive it away. It doesn't know what it did wrong. From birth, all it wants is a companion. Until he met Cerulean, who called himself Quack Doctor. Cerulean not only took care of him like a son, but also named him Tony Chopper. Cerulean told the story of a pirate who was healed by cherry blossoms, and personally made a pirate flag with a cherry blossom pattern. He told Chopper that the pirate flag represents firm belief. In the short but warm days, Chopper thought he finally had a destination and a partner. However, Hiroluke's life was coming to an end. When trying to redeem Drum Island with himself, he reluctantly sent Chopper away and entrusted Kuleha to take care of him. In the end, the Quack Doctor failed and died in front of Valpo's castle, but he completely changed Chopper's life. In order to fulfill Cerulean's last wish, Chopper learned medical skills from Dory's medical mother, Kurha. The castle in front of him now is the resting place of Cerulean, and the pirate flag hanging on the top of the castle is also the most precious and longing thing for Chopper. Chapter 92 Battle 2, Sakura Flag. Today's battle is over. Kang released the clone technique that made up the numbers. Usopp looked puzzled. What's wrong? Don't you want to listen? I still have many stories that no one has shared. Don't be stupid, Chopper is gone. Kang said. Without the protagonist, who would want to hear this? At this time, Luffy woke up leisurely and asked, why did I fall asleep? What do you say? Did Chopper agree? Are we going to have a new pet? Kang shook his head and explained to Luffy. Don't be anxious, this kind of thing should be done step by step. This is the first step to arouse Chopper's interest in the sea. We will have another one tomorrow. Kang didn't know whether Valpo would come back, so he thought he should be prepared. The next day, at this time, Usopp and Luffy looked excited, but Sanji looked disgusted. What do you mean? Is Kang going to play? What are we waiting for? Luffy asked. Kang looked at the sky and sighed. He felt that the perverted Valpo was unlikely to come, and he might be solved by Zoro. After all, the butterfly effect still exists, even if many things still happen. Chopper Wars 2, the large-scale stage play, Sakura Pirate Flag, begins. Kang's second seal, multiple shadow clone techniques. Bang. Two Kang clones suddenly appeared, bang bang bang. After 3 sounds, they transformed into Ms. Valentine, Bald Mr. 5 and Zoro. Luffy's eyes indicated, can we start? Kang sensed it. Huh, Murkrow shows up. Kang's real body. Bald Mr. 5 shouted. This is my brother Valpo's castle, who invaded this place. Actor Luffy. Damn it. I will protect this place, I am Monkey D. Luffy. Actor Usopp. I am Captain Usopp. I will never let you destroy this place. Sanji, who doesn't want to be an actor. I am Sanji, and so do I. Kang smiled disdainfully. The flag above is so ugly, I don't think it is necessary to exist. He clapped his hands, sprayed a false fireball at the Sakura pirate flag, and shouted. Booger bomb. Luffy dodged a few times, jumped to the roof, caught the fireball with his face, protected the pirate flag, and said deeply. No, this is the symbol of a pirate's life. I won't let it be broken easily. Chopper looked at this scene with a surprised look on his face, and was extremely moved in his heart. At this time, Usopp raised his slingshot and roared, damn it. UB asterisk 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 D. This is what my partner Chopper protects with his life. I will fight with you. Must kill Snowball Star. Usopp hit Ms. Valentine with a snowball. Ah, what a powerful attack. But, Ms. Valentine took 2 steps back and jumped up. 10,000 kilograms guillotine. Ms. Valentine suppressed Usopp, and Usopp immediately used Tomato Star and said weakly. I will never let you go past here. Chopper. He is my partner. Usopp roared angrily. The must kill Rotten Egg Star. Ms. Valentine's day was shot all over her face, and she was actually knocked away by the impact of the egg. It happened to land not far from Chopper. Usopp tremblingly approached Ms. Valentine, shooting snowballs as he walked. Damn it. Why did you do this for that civet cat? Ms. Valentine seemed to be in disbelief. Because Chopper is our partner. We must protect its glory with our lives. Usopp shoots and yells at the sky in a stylish way. He has the qualities of an actor. Chopper cried with tears streaming down his face behind the stone. However, it stinks. Sanji took a deep breath of the cigarette and was so embarrassed watching from the sidelines. When he saw Kang turned into Zoro, he wanted to kick his feet. He rushed to say, yes, that's right. Chopper is our partner. Go to hell, idiot fisherman, stinky swordsman. Sanji appeared next to Kang's clone. Hey, I haven't said my villain lines yet. Bang. Kang's clone turned into smoke and disappeared. No one can bully my partner. After Sanji said that, he ran into the house without looking back. So embarrassing. Miss Nami, please don't see this. Although Chopper didn't know why Sanji wanted to go back, he still shed tears and snot and made a nasal noise. Is this what being a partner means? So touching. At this time, the simple Chopper already believed that these people wanted to be his partners. The drama continues. Luffy stood on the rooftop and shouted to the sky, Tony, Tony Chopper, I will protect your honor. After saying that, he pointed at Mr. Five and said angrily, you, booger man. I'm going to beat you away. Kong shouted disdainfully, just you. I must vent my anger for my Valpo brothers today. Whoever stops him will be killed. At this time, Chopper transformed into a snow monster and rushed out with tears. Luffy, Usopp, thank you, but please leave this booger to me. When Kong himself saw Chopper appearing, he looked pleased. He was really innocent and easy to deceive. He was just thinking about how to get beaten later. A sudden voice came with doubt, who is my brother? What are you doing in my castle? Seeing the figure in the direction of the sound, Kang's face turned frighteningly dark. Damn it, Lousy thought you weren't coming. I made Lousy act awkwardly for a long time, but now you're out. Act 2 of Sakura Pirate Flag. Walpo. Chopper was the first to recognize the person. When Valpo appeared, Kurha and Sanji had already come out of the castle. Valpo sat on the Maohei horse and pointed at everyone and said, it was you who occupied my castle and made my castle a mess. Luffy looked unhappy. Who is this Iron Chin? We are filming. Don't disturb us. Although Valpo looked confused, he still turned to his men and ordered, one more law has been added to this country's laws, making filming a crime. Kuleha took a bite of salted prunes, her eyes were terrifyingly cold. Why do you want to come back? Valpo, isn't it bad to wander in the sea? Or do you want my secret of eternal youth? Valpo bared his teeth and said with a smile, I am the king of this country. Blackbeard is gone. Of course I will come back to rule this country again. After saying that, Valpo gave an order. Marymount, Jace, and my good brother, do it. Pull that flag off for me first. I won't allow the flag of quackery to hang on my territory. Kang's veins popped out, and he just wanted to roast these stupid birds with a fire. Luffy looked shocked. Stop. Wait a minute, your target is the pirate flag. Are you also an actor? Valpo had a question mark on his face. Luffy thought he was filming a stage play. Sanji covered his face in disgust, obviously these people are serious, right? However, Luffy's words made Kang's eyes light up. It would be great if the drama continued. And it just so happens that everyone is here. Kang said. Luffy. I'll leave this to you. Defeat him. Chopper is our partner. These words are easy to understand. Luffy's eyes lit up. The director added some drama. So you are not my good brother. I will swallow you. Valpo opened his mouth and bit Kang. Click, 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 the person swallowed it, but it was his subordinate Jace. King, it's me. I'm Jace. You swallowed the wrong person. Luffy's face was full of stars, silk cake. Substitution technique. But, where did Kang go? Chapter 93 Chopper gets on the boat. I'm here. Actress Ms. released her transformation on Valentine's Day and walked out. Kang's body circled around and entered the castle through the window, with a golden key in his hand. If medical treatment costs money, Nami will feel distressed. Kang returned to the castle, found Nami's room, and immediately called Sleeping Beauty. Nami, the big deal is coming. Upon hearing the big deal, Nami stood up suddenly. She took the golden key thrown by Kang with a confused look on her face. What is this? What are you doing outside? It's so noisy. Kang smiled evilly and told Nami the importance of this key. When she found out that the key equals medical expenses equals her money, Nami's eyes turned into Bailey. Okay, keep it safe. Don't go out. There are a group of fools outside helping us to assist Chopper. I'll be right there. After Kang finished speaking, while Shadow Clone was attracting firepower outside, he moved toward Kuleha's storage room. For treating our straw hats like this, we must take revenge. He rummaged in the storage room and finally found a mysterious jar. Kang looked at the special fragrance inside. This is the secret to your longevity, right? Old witch, don't blame me. Ha ha ha. Kang smiled evilly, picked up the small can, and picked up a few bottles of plum wine. It's impossible to fight, so we can only retaliate like this. Kang returned to Nami's room and found Nami lying on the second floor window watching a play. Poor Valpo turned into a meteor in the sky under Luffy's extremely charged rocket launcher. I believe he will never have the chance to come back and harm the Drum Kingdom. No, it should be renamed Sakura Kingdom soon. Because according to the information sent by Shadow Clone, Chopper should be almost abducted. The dust has settled and everyone is happy. Kuleha dragged Sanji, who kept shouting, waste, toward the castle. She didn't know what happened to Sanji. The old witch was silently explaining something to Chopper as she walked. The guy with the long nose isn't hurt at all. That's Ketchup. And the guy who turned into a fart, I can't save him at all. My stupid son, why are you so stupid? Kuleha's expression was very angry, and her tone was very similar to that of someone who recognized her son everywhere. However, she also saw that Chopper had found a partner, and she felt relieved. Kuleha frowned when she saw the duo watching a show by the window on the second floor. The patient, please go back to the ward. Okay, sister. Kang was kind and then gave Nami a look. Nami understood and turned a key in his hand. The battle of women begins. Excuse me, do you need this thing? Nami walked over and looked confident as she watched my performance. Kuleha's eyes narrowed, as this, the key to the weapons arsenal of Valpo Castle. If she has the key to the arsenal that is too hard to open, the citizens of this country can carry out civil militia, and she can even complete a certain agreement. Interesting. What do you want? Little girl. Nami smiled. We will waive all fees and allow us to be discharged from the hospital early. What do you think? Young and beautiful sister. You have good taste. Kuleha nodded with satisfaction and took the key. Then he looked like you were still too young and said. But if you are not cured of your illness, you can only leave me if you die. After hearing this, Nami's smile instantly froze and her expression began to distort. Ah, why is this? Give me the key back, damn it. Nami, the old woman, didn't say anything, but Kang covered her mouth. Kuleha is not a simple guy. He is not a good person at first glance. She does not want Nami to be beaten. Kuleha looked at the two of them, smiled slightly and said, the relationship is not bad. At this time, Kuleha threw a small backpack over. I didn't send anyone to monitor you. There are changes of clothes in that room. But don't try to sneak away. Understood. Kang nodded. It means just grab your clothes and get out, and take Chopper with you, right? Okay, old woman. After Kang finished packing, he summoned two Shadow Clone and carried Nami and Sanji out of the door. As soon as he went out, he saw Luffy shouting to Chopper. Chopper, come become a pirate with us. Chopper lowered his head and said hesitantly, it's not that I don't want to go to sea. I think Dr. Doriel doesn't have a few more years to live. She needs me to support her until she ends. Silence. Kuleha didn't know how she felt when she heard this. Besides, I'm just a reindeer with horns, hooves, and a blue nose. I'm afraid you will abandon me, Chopper said with a cry and low self-esteem. Stop talking. However, Luffy's roar interrupted Chopper's sadness. Just follow me. Monkey D. Luffy swears by the dream of One Piece. I will never abandon any of my friends. These words made Nami, Usopp, Kang and Sanji, who had back pain, all smile. Kang's eyes sparkled. Learned. While the friends were shocked by Luffy's vow, Chopper burst into tears and seemed to have made up his mind. He shouted. Tony Chopper, want to be a pirate. Awesome, this is it. You are really strong, Luffy. Kang murmured. At this time, Kuleha, who was alone, was moving the cannon alone. She looked up in shock. Does the will of D still exist? Is it the successor of Gal D? Roger. So my silly son, Dr. Kurha, is really following a great person. I don't care. I want to be a pirate. When Chopper appeared with a loud roar, Kuleha chased after him waving a meteor hammer behind him. You're leaving. Who will be my assistant? You stinky reindeer that no one likes. You still want to be partners with humans. Life is like a play, it all depends on acting skills. Chopper's war ended perfectly. Director. Kang, actor MVP, Dr. Kuleha. Chopper came to the crowd with a serious look on his face. Come up quickly. I'll take you down on a sleigh. Dr. Doriel is going crazy. A group of people immediately piled into the sleigh, and then. Whoosh. Oh, I'm going to die. The night was like silk, the bright moon hung high, and a sleigh pulled by reindeer cut through the sky like in a fairy tale. In fact, it was Joba gliding on a cable while pulling a sled. Did it suddenly become very scientific and normal? If you want to ask how a rope can be pulled, Newton, lie down again. As we all know, people with weak hearts cannot play such stimulating sports. For example, Usopp and Nami were scared out of their wits. If the car overturns, the Straw Hats will. Usopp was about to say passively. Usopp, shut up. Nami punched out, interrupting his open mouth. Boom, boom, boom. At this time, continuous gunshots were heard from the top of the mountain, and then, pink cherry blossoms began to rain from the sky, like a dream. Faced with this situation, Chopper looked up to the sky and burst into tears. Tears and smiles intertwined, it was touching and joyful. It's Dr. Doriel. Chopper. This is that man's dream. I seem to hear his will. Luffy covered his hat and smiled, but he forgot the name of the quack doctor. Witnessing this warm and touching farewell ceremony, Kang felt infinite emotion. Whether it is Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Luffy, or even Chopper in front of them, they all carry the most sincere blessings and thoughts of their loved ones when they embark on the voyage. On this ship full of dreams, maybe you are the only one who is truly alone, right? But then, Kang suddenly thought, the main reason is that I am too strong, and the strong are destined to be lonely. Thinking about it, Kang took out the fishing rod in the air. Speaking of Murkrow, where is my special fishing bait for the past few days? Chapter 94 Set sail, the oranges of Kokoyasi. When they returned to the ship, Zoro and Vivi were immersed in the beauty of the blooming cherry blossoms. I didn't expect to see cherry blossoms in the snow and ice. It's incredible, Vivi exclaimed. Zoro, there are so many things you didn't expect. Would you like a glass of hot wine to warm yourself up? Is it okay? Vivi knows that Zoro is a heavy drinker, and she knows that his wine is hard-earned. As soon as he finished speaking, Zoro filled a glass for Vivi and drank from it himself. At this moment, Sanji jumped up to Meili carrying a large bag and a small bag, and looked at her coldly. Damn green algae head, it's me who made the promise with Vivi Uexia. After saying that, Sanji hit Zoro with a flying kick. Quack. On the side, a shivering duck watched Zoro being attacked and couldn't help but quack angrily, as if cursing. He said this green-haired swordsman is so inhuman. At this time, Chopper and Luffy, carrying a small backpack, boarded the ship together and acted as translators. Dumb. Dumb. Chopper pointed at Zoro. Dark Crow said that this swordsman took the sacred object he gave birth to. When Kang heard this, he dragged his body, which had just recovered from a serious illness, to join the melee army. Lucci swordsman, where's my fishing bait? Bring it back to me. The Dark Crow flew beside the fast runner. Dumb. Dumb. The Mercrow asked what was wrong with the duck shivering. Run fast, gesture and get angry at the same time. After running fast and Chopper's explanation, everyone knew. It turns out that when Zoro was swimming, he woke up quickly and mistakenly thought that Zoro had fallen into the water. In desperation, he jumped into the water regardless of the cold and tried to rescue him. In order to save Zoro, he almost froze to death. After learning the truth, several black lines appeared on Nami and Vivi's foreheads. However, Chopper, the animal translator, lives up to his name. Chopper who can transform. Chopper can also convey messages to his friends. Usopp and Luffy appeared behind Chopper, and they both said in unison, Chopper. Don't run. There was a big melee between Kang and Usopp, and Luffy and Usopp chased Chopper across the ship. Nami and Vivi held their foreheads in a fit of excitement, feeling so tired. Dwang, dong, dang, bang, bang. The air suddenly became quiet. Luffy, announce the sailing quickly. Vivi's country is waiting for us. Nami said angrily. Hearing this, Luffy used life return, adjusted the straw hat on his head, showed his iconic big smile, and declared loudly. Set sail. Target. The kingdom of Alabasta. With this order, half of the big stone hanging in Vivi's heart fell. Sail. Chopper, the new arrival, also cheered along with Luffy. This is a pirate. Chopper looked excited. Before it was over, Luffy raised his hands. Ha ha ha. And, Chopper is welcome to join us. Nami and Kang have recovered, and the banquet is going to be held. It's a party. Chopper shouted again, imitating Luffy. Then I'll prepare the ingredients. Let's have a rabbit feast then. Sanji lit a cigarette coolly and walked towards the kitchen on the second floor. Did you know, Chopper? All pirate banquets in the world were invented by me. Usopp boasted. Chopper looked shocked. Really? Usopp is so powerful. Of course, I tell you, Chopper is here, and the happiest person is Usopp. Nami couldn't stand it anymore and took Chopper away. These idiots were going to lead Chopper astray. She opened the store door, looked at her personal assets that had not been violated at all, and breathed a sigh of relief. You still have a conscience. Then oranges in Kokoyasi will reopen. Seeing how energetic Nami was, Vivi said happily, Nami, are you feeling better? Nami nodded. Thank you for your hard work, Vivi. I made you worry. Just when Vivi was concerned, Zoro quickly came to the canteen while Kang was still lying on the ground. Nami, buy a drink. But Nami looked disgusted. Are you rich? Zoro handsomely threw out a bag of carefully prepared trading items, which had a strange smell. Nami opened it and saw that it wasn't. Zoro pointed at the fishing guy quietly and smiled crookedly. The canteen opened at just the right time and he wanted to take action immediately. After all, he couldn't withstand the power of Albaro. Nami put away the items and showed a devilish smile. This thing can only be exchanged for 5 bottles of orange wine. Zoro looked surprised when he heard this. He didn't expect to be able to exchange 5 bottles. Fortunately, he didn't throw them away as shit. Nami took out a few bottles of bargains from the wine cabinet and threw them to Zoro. Chopper, who was learning pirate knowledge in Nami's arms, was confused. What was this? Nami took out a popsicle from the refrigerator and handed it to Chopper. Dr. Chopper, I'll treat you to food for free. You will also have your own pirate dividends in the future. Chopper pointed at himself, took the popsicle after seeing Nami's affirmative look, and took a bite. Wow, it's so sweet. Thank you, Nami. At this time, Kang trotted over. Nami, my special fishing bait for the past few days. The Lucci swordsman said it is here for you. Nami pointed to the sign behind him, special bait, 10,000 belly piece. Loan. Kang shed tears of sadness. Nami put on her glasses, took out her account book and started writing and drawing. When I was experimenting with the explosive talisman, I took out a loan to buy 5 sets of clothes. In addition, when I was in the small garden, I burned my clothes and made me sick. Triple compensation. Well, you owe me 2 million belly now. You can't get a loan. Quote. Kang was numb instantly. Are you a devil, Nami? He could only sell things now, so he took out his things, 3 bottles of plum wine, 5 detonating charms. When he took out a small jar, Kang rolled his eyes with a mysterious look on his face. Nami, this thing is incredible. This is the secret of Kurehakyong Yamato's eternal youth. My Sharingan will not be mistaken. As soon as these words came out, Nami, Vivi and Chopper all cast curious glances. Chopper asked in surprise, is it something from Dr. Doriel? Kang carefully opened the lid of the jar. Nami glanced at it and rolled her eyes. Isn't this just salted prunes? Kang shook his head, pointed at his eyes and said, these are definitely not ordinary salted prunes. I found that every time Kureha beats someone away, she would eat one in her mouth. Nami looked at Kang with a subtle expression, this guy doesn't look like an idiot. However, it seems that the old lady is really like this. Is it really available? Nami hesitated. This is the secret to Yamato's longevity. A bucket of salted prunes and 3 bottles of plum wine in exchange for 20 baits. Nami paused, glanced at Vivi, and continued. Also, I will summon Moo Moo later, I will solve the feeding problem, and our expenses will be written off. Deal. Chi Kong readily agreed. After Chi Kong left, Nami said to Chopper, Chopper, help me study this plum later, and I will make some clothes for you. After saying that, Nami picked out a few sets of Luffy's clothes and prepared to change them and give them to Chopper. Chopper, who was holding the dried plums, hesitated to speak several times. These are just ordinary salted prunes. You can't become a Superman after eating them. Chapter 95 Nokigao's Letter, Banquet. Chi Kong took out the scroll and went to the sea, bit his finger, and the curse seals surged around. Ninjutsu. Psychic technique. With a bang, Mumo appeared. Mumo was being fed by Nuo Chigao just now, when he suddenly felt Chi Kang's call and appeared in this cold water. Same as usual, help pull the boat. Time is tight and the task is urgent. If you do it well, you will benefit from it. With that said, Chi Kong began to rope Moo. He mooed twice, with a look of disgust on his face. He also called it to pull the boat. At this time, Chopper appeared at the bow of the boat with a curious look on his face. Is it called Moo? It said that it is now the guardian beast of the village and originally did not agree to pull the boat. Moo saw Chopper's surprised look on his face and tried calling him twice. Chopper translated. Momo said a blue-haired girl brought something to Nami. My stuff. Hearing his name, Nami's head popped up with curiosity. Hey, come here, where are my things? Moo obediently swam next to Meili, his mouth began to move, and then he regurgitated something wrapped in craft paper. Cow, craft paper. Nuauchi Gaojun knows how to play. It's so disgusting. Chi Kong, please deal with it. Chi Kong looked unhappy. Why me? Although he expressed disgust, he directly washed away the impurities with a stream of water. Nami opened the paper bag, and there was Nokigao's handwriting on it. It turned out that after Moo disappeared once and came back, Nuo Chigao learned through questioning that it was Chi Kong who had summoned it. This was her spontaneous attempt at communication. The letter was from 3 days ago. In the letter, Nochigao talked about the current situation of Coco West Village, writing a lot in a few words. Friends Joseph and Johnny have changed their careers and become hardworking fishermen. They work at dawn and return at night, darning fishing nets and casting nets for fishing. Their days are busy and fulfilling. The 2 villages of Kokoyasi Village and Kesha Town merged to create a larger village. Ajian and the old village chief worked hand in hand to handle government affairs, becoming the first generation of village chief and deputy village chief. In order to implement the straw hat will, the villagers are now leading the efforts to rebuild a beautiful home. Of course, there are some who are jealous and make trouble, but the villagers are very united and those who make trouble are driven away. Most of the time, Johnny and Joseph take care of it. Moo, on the other hand, has successfully won the acceptance and love of the villagers with his honest and cute image and always helping the villagers. He has transformed from a notorious person who was once threatened by Aaron to a mascot. Its relationship with the villagers has now been restored very well. The villagers generally believe that Moo had to do bad things under the force of Aaron. Nagio. After reading the letter, Nami looked up at the night sky. Although the letters contained trivial matters in daily life, they were very plain yet very warm. The existence of Nokigao is also a piece of pure land and sustenance for Nami's soul. One day in the future, when I, a genius navigator, complete my dream of drawing a world map, I will definitely return to Kokoyasi village. At that time, Nuo Chigao will definitely be at the entrance of the village, welcoming me home with a smile, right? Nami couldn't help it. She wiped away the tears flickering from the corners of her eyes, and a smile broke out on her face. There is nothing happier than recovering from a serious illness and receiving messages from loved ones on this endless sea. Of course, if there is, it's treasure. She smiled at Moo and said, Moo, open it up and eat it soon. Enough food for today. Moo, it says you are a good person. Chopper was infected by Moo's emotions and translated happily. Luffy suddenly shouted to this side. Come quickly, friends. Sanji is preparing the banquet. The waves lapped against the side of the ship, and the Straw Hat Pirates laughed one after another. The banquet began. The funny duo of Luffy and Usopp each had a pair of chopsticks stuck between their nostrils, laughing playfully. Ha ha ha, Chopper, do you want to give it a try? Chopper held the chopsticks, his eyes sparkling with wisdom, and he actually followed suit. This caused a lot of laughter around. Ha ha ha, Chopper learns quickly. When Nami came out of the store, she covered her face and felt tired. Chopper had become the third fool. Chi Kong petted the bird and looked at the happy scene. He felt relieved that he finally gathered the 3 idiots. Such an adventure is such a joy. Nami rolled out a wine barrel and announced loudly, today's orange wine is 30% off, unlimited. Wow, Nami looks so beautiful today. This is very wrong. Usopp looked at Nami warily. No matter what the routine is. Long live Nami. Everyone cheered, except of course a green-haired swordsman. Ah, Nami, I want my money back. Nami's announcement pushed the party to a climax. Cheers to our new companion. Luffy raised the wine glass in his hand. Cheers. ×7. Hey, Chopper can't drink. Give me orange juice. Nami roared. Luffy immediately said dissatisfied, how can a pirate not drink? No, I want him to drink, I am. Boom. This time, the captain's majesty did not deter Nami. I want to drink. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, my friends. Ha ha ha. Chopper, with his chopsticks in his hands, blushed and had never been so happy. Dum, quack. After a while of noise. This is a new partner, the ship's doctor of our pirate group. Nami introduced Zoro and Vivi, two people who didn't know the situation. After hearing this, Zoro raised his eyebrows slightly and said dubiously, I thought Luffy found it interesting and randomly found a crew member. Zoro said, does Luffy have such a brain? Ship doctor. Isn't the doctor that old woman? Luffy looked shocked. Usopp was also shocked for 100 years, but wasn't it obvious to Luffy's identity as the ship's doctor? Zoro on the side showed a true expression, this reaction was his captain. Nami couldn't help asking a sole question, you don't know that Chopper is the ship's doctor. Then why did you invite him on the ship? Luffy put his hands on his hips and replied confidently, I think Chopper is very interesting. Like Usopp, he is a good partner. Usopp was greatly moved by Luffy's words. At this time, Sanji handed everyone plates of barbecued meat with fresh onions and green peppers, and said with a wicked smile, I thought Chopper and Dark Crow were as fast as they could run, and they were backup food reserves. When Chopper heard this, he started running around, panicking and shouting, ah! Help, Dr. Doriel. Murkrows and fast runners don't sit well with Sanji. He attacked Sanji violently up and down, pecking his head and biting his legs. Stop, what are you doing? Vivi and Kong tell them to stop. Gah, dumb. Knowing that he had been tricked, Chopper angrily translated, run fast and say it is very angry. The Dark Crow said you have too much hair, so it will help you trim it. At this time, it was Nami who helped Sanji out. Okay, Sanji, is Moo's food ready? She did remember to feed Moo. Sanji breathed a sigh of relief, untied his tie seriously, and smiled mysteriously, I haven't forgotten Miss Nami's instructions. The barbecue will be ready soon. Sanji waved to the other men. This is our boarding gift for Chopper, a special cooking performance, Straw Hat Barbecue. But this time I will be the chef. Chapter 96 Straw Hat Barbecue, Chopper's Physical Examination. Chopper, Vivi and Nami looked confused. What? I saw Sanji kicking Labang away with a special frequency and shouting, idiot swordsman, hurry up. Zoro narrowed his eyes, held 3 knives in his hand, and disappeared instantly. Santo Ryu meat cutting. When Zoro appeared again, the rabbit in the sky cut off its head and tail, skinned and deboned it, turning it into pieces of crystal clear meat of different sizes. This is very scientific, Luffy shouted. Rubber stacked meat. His rubber arm turned into an afterimage, quickly piled up pieces of meat in the air, and then threw it violently, high into the air. See Gaoyi, Luffy's hand speed is so fast. Chopper exclaimed repeatedly. Next, look at me. Chopper, Usopp, will inject the soul of this barbecue. Usopp showed off an extra-large slingshot, which was loaded with Sanji's special sauce bucket. Must-kill explosion sauce star. With a precise blow, the sauce exploded in midair and evenly sprinkled on every piece of meat like nectar, with a Madara-colored color and overflowing aroma. Chopper had stars in his eyes. Gorgeous. So gorgeous. Then, Sanji held several huge wooden skewers in his hand and started shaving, inserting all the pieces of meat perfectly and wrapping the meat with a layer of tinfoil. Fisherman, it's your turn, Sanji shouted. Shadow clone technique. 2 Kong suddenly appeared on the left and right sides. The 3 of them began to form seals. Fire-style great fireball technique. 3 streams of flames converged from different directions, and the barbecue in Sanji's hand swirled in the whirlpool of flames. Sanji precisely controls the heat, demonstrating the ultimate art of cooking. This was also the first time Sanji showed off his hand speed and power. But at this time, Nami was ready to take action. Weather hurricane. Nami swung the rotating weather stick, and the strong wind made the flames fierce again. Miss Nami, slow down. This will test my hand speed and fire control skills. Sweat broke out on Sanji's forehead. Food can't be wasted. Food can't be delicious. This made Sanji become absolutely serious. Sanji got his comeuppance for not adding the lady to the production team. As the barbecue makes an attractive, sizzling sound, the aroma that permeates the surroundings makes everyone's mouths water. The barbecue was spread out, and Sanji proudly said, Straw Hat Barbecue. This is a special barbecue belonging to our pirate group, and it will be improved in the future. Everyone grabbed Sanji before he could finish his words. The biggest one is Moo. Sanji took the biggest one away and handed it to Nami. With Nami feeding Moo, yummy, you are good people. Kong also took a bite of the cute rabbit and showed an expression of enjoyment. The meat cooked with my friends is so delicious. If you eat meat but not garlic, you always feel like something is missing. He thinks he can let Sanji study traditional Chinese cuisine next time. Kong happily ate the meat, and Merc Crow happily lost 2 more special baits today. There are 27 baits in hand now. The road is long and long, let's start fishing tomorrow. While Kong was thinking, Princess Vivi next to her felt a little lonely. Although she was chewing the fragrant barbecue in her mouth, her heart was full of mixed feelings, as if she was an outsider. Sanji was keenly aware of Vivi's emotions, quietly came to her side, handed her a glass of juice, and explained. I didn't want Lady to participate in such rough work as cooking. I have no other intention. Beautiful lady, if this makes you sad, I'm extremely sorry. Sanji didn't say anything about partners, that was something that Luffy needed to admit, everything was left unspoken. Disgusting. I can't live without it. Gentle color Sanji, heals Vivi. A night of fun. The next day, the conscientious Chopper said that he would give everyone a physical examination. Of course, it might be under someone's conspiracy. Chi Kong is fishing. Chopper, now wearing a fake beard and an ill-fitting white coat, lay on Chi Kang's head and kept sliding his stethoscope over his bald head. While listening, Chow Huzi shook his head and kept sighing like he was setting up a banquet at home. We don't dare to ask why we need to use a stethoscope when looking at a bald person. Chi Kang's forehead was dripping with sweat and he said, what should I say? How long do I have to give you an accurate message? Chopper put away his stethoscope seriously, stroked his beard, and said. Well, this is probably a common hair loss phenomenon in middle age. This is the first time I've seen such severe hair loss like yours. Chi Kong thought. I am already bald. This is obvious baldness. Does this still need to be diagnosed? Wait, what the hell is middle age? Chaoba suddenly whispered to Chi Kong. Don't worry, middle-aged people have many unspeakable secrets. I will keep the confidentiality of doctors and patients. Let me open a few bottles of hair growth water for you to try first. Why should I keep my baldness a secret? Wait, why are you middle-aged again? And Usopp and Luffy, the two funny guys watching the show, never left their eyes. How can you keep this a secret? Zoro on the side burst into laughter. He captured the key words, bald head, and unspeakable concealment. Chi Kang's face darkened. Thank you, Dr. Chaoba. Let's take a look at green algae head quickly. I think road fever is also a disease. Chopper danced around for a while, talking duplicity, and twisted in front of Zoro. Zoro, it's time to give you a physical examination. Let me listen to your brain. Zoro waved his hand decisively. Hey, Chopper, road fever is not a disease. No, I am not a road fever. You should go see the Kappa. Usopp and Luffy held their stomachs and laughed out of breath. Chi Kong felt happy that he had avenged a great revenge. On this day, Chaoba seriously prescribed medicine, hair tonic, for Chi Kong to cure baldness. For other people's diseases, Chaoba wrote a temporary diagnosis and promised to start developing special medicines as soon as possible. Captain Luffy's medical certificate stated that he was an idiot and willful, and Dr. Chopper's prescription was, just give him a beating. According to Zoro's medical diagnosis, the name of the disease is Road Kai, and Dr. Chopper's prescription is, don't leave him alone. Sanji's medical certificate stated that he would die without a woman's breath, and Dr. Chopper's prescription was, just become a transvestite. In Usopp's medical certificate, the name of the disease was a lie, and Dr. Chopper's prescription was, I always thought what he said was true. Nami's medical diagnosis is money obsessed, and Dr. Chopper's prescription is, don't talk to her about money, let alone owe her money. Therefore, only Vivi is not sick for the time being. Chi Kong received the Chowhu brand hair growth lotion, and Chu Ba said with a sad face that only Chi Kang's disease could be cured by him. Dr. Chopper, come here. At this time, Nami called Chopper into the store with a sly look. At noon, Mumo suddenly howled at Meili. Moo, I'm a little tired. I want to go back. Can I? Keep pulling for me. If I can't reach Alabasta, I'll slice you up, believe it or not. Chi Kong was full of threats. Boom. Nami a chestnut. Speak to me. It is now the sacred beast of our Kokoyasi village. How can it be repaired? Chi Kong covered his head and gritted his teeth. Nami. This is my psychic beast. Hey, come here. After feeding Mumu, Nami took out a piece of brown paper and wrote a reply and a well-wrapped straw hat barbecue in it. Bring this to me, Nokigao. She also wants to try to see if she can pass on other things. If so. Nami shook his head to get rid of his thoughts. It was impossible to think of entering Mu's mouth and going home. If Chi Kong knew what Nami was thinking, he would probably be in a big fight. Space is something that even ninjutsu doesn't understand. If you still want to teleport home, it's good if you don't turn into shit. As the channeling was lifted, Nami called on everyone to start sailing, and they had to walk the rest of the way on their own. Chapter 97 Physical fitness increased greatly, Mr. 2. Sanji lit a cigarette and said, Hey, fisherman, did you catch any fish today? If not, you can only eat fried rice with eggs. After hearing this, Luffy was shocked. How could he be one piece without meat? How could this happen? Sanji, have you finished eating the meat? I don't care. I want to eat meat. Sanji flew up with a kick and gave Luffy a big blow. You and Mumo are the best at eating. That's enough food for 2 weeks. It was supposed to last until Alabasta, but then there was a banquet, and this guy Mu came out again. It seems that raising Mumu is really a waste of energy. Luffy looked frustrated and didn't mention himself at all. An evil and charming voice came from far away from the canteen. Orange and Cocoa West Village sells air-dried pulled pork. 5,000 belly, Jin. Usopp pointed at Nami and shouted. Luffy, don't be fooled. I smell a conspiracy. We can't compromise. Yes, Usopp, we can't be fooled. Let's go fishing with Chi Kong. Luffy nodded seriously. As a result, the two hit it off. Luffy, we want to catch sharks. Usopp's nose turned up. Then I can just catch Poseidon's. A hoof inserted. Chopper wants to fish too. At this time, Chi Kong felt the big movement of the Supreme Great Quick Rod. Sorry, I took the bait first. Then thank you, Emperor Usopp. Kang's chakra condensed into his hands, turning on the giant power mode. Luffy. Kang caught an incredible guy. Usopp threw away the fishing rod and shouted while pulling Luffy. At this time, Kang's fishing rod was struggling very hard, but for him, it was just a little serious. 18 catches will lead to a sinking of fishes. A fisherman will never fly in the Air Force. The water droplets shed by along's nose, fish as big as the melee glistened in the sun. 4. With a forced appointment physique, this fish has something. It's just not easy to collect. Dumb. Chauba translator. Blue-striped kingfish. A common deep-sea giant fish with delicious meat and rich nutrients. Long-term consumption has the effect of enhancing the physical fitness of local people. This, local, is very good. Who do you look down on? What? Does Dark Crow know so much? Usopp looked shocked. Kang also understood. Every time he took the bait, the Dark Crow was screaming blindly, and he was introducing the fish species. But he couldn't understand it. Hey, it's such a big deal. Melee can't stand it. Nami looked at the shrouded black shadow in horror. Santo Ryu meat cutting. Zoro appeared in time, slashed with 3 knives, cut off the head and tail, and the fish turned into pieces and fell on the melee. Sanji came belatedly with a kitchen knife, not bad. Green algae head, it would be good to become a chef instead. Zoro said disdainfully. Hurry up and cook. Chef, your knife skills are far behind mine. The two fell in love and killed each other. Luffy. Usopp. The two looked at each other, their eyes shining. During the quarrel between Luffy and Usopp, the two thought it was a problem with the bait, so they looked at Chopper and the fast running. Dumb. Lousy can fly. Vivi came over and asked curiously, what did you two catch? Why are you using fast running speed as bait? Why don't you care, Chopper? Quack. The poor Kodak duck shouted for help. Bang. Vivi, who is becoming more and more, Straw Hat, punches Luffy and Usopp on the deck one after another. Chopper was trembling at the side. It was because he wanted to save his fellow Taoists from death that he did not stop them. At this time, the surrounding situation quickly attracted Vivi's attention. What's going on? This is hot fog. Nami, look, Vivi quickly greeted Nami. Nami has discovered it and started Navigator's analysis. A natural phenomenon caused by the eruption of submarine volcanoes. A new island may be formed here after thousands or tens of thousands of years. After Nami finished speaking, the 3 idiots began to discuss the meaning of life. And their bait still ran fast. It seemed like Vivi was just looking for a reason to beat up these 2 idiots. Oh, my poor duck. Suddenly, this scene made Kang tilt his head, as if he had seen it before. At this time, the melee was completely wrapped in steam, and it was completely white. Save, Ming Ying. Gulu. Save, Ming Ying. Kang vaguely heard someone calling for help. When the melee came out of the steam ball, Kang's fishing rod moved again. The strength is very ordinary, but this scene attracted the attention of the 3 guys. FK. This is. Kang looked confused at this time. Luffy grabbed Merc Crow and shook it. Mark Crow. Tell me what Kang caught. Is it a swan? The Dark Crow screamed twice and flew over the head of the fast runner. Chopper translated. Dark Crow said this is human. Kang already recognized this guy. It was him, Mr. Tu Von Clay, who actually caught someone again and was determined to be successful. Because they used special bait, the fish that originally belonged to Luffy and the others became his own. With a physical bonus of close to 6 inches forced contracts, he is worthy of being the second brother of Baroque. Mr. Tu is a man wearing a swan suit, a cape with the words, the way of the S********** E, written on the back, a furry headdress on his head, and lipstick and eyeshadow on his face. He is a person with the ability to imitate the fruit, and he believes that he is both a male and a female. He is the only senior cadre under Crocodile who does not have a partner. The slave family seems to be saved. Gulu. It didn't matter if Kang didn't look at it. He was so frightened by the heavy makeup that he closed his pole. This power. Seeing this, Luffy jumped down and shouted. He fell into the water. I'm going to save him. Thump. I fell into the water. Come and save me, Luffy shouted again. There was a roar on the deck, and USO pulled Chopper, who wanted to save people. Zoro rescued Luffy with a black streak on his head. After Luffy got on the boat, he immediately pulled Kang's clothes and yelled. What are you doing, Kang? That's a human being. What you are doing is disrespecting human life. Kang let Luffy pull the collar and turned into Albira with a bang. He wanted to say, don't you think this guy is perverted? There was something wrong with the fishing rod just now. After saying that, Kang walked towards Kokoyasi's oranges. Nami, come here, I want to buy something. Kang had some ideas, as the saying goes, if I don't go to hell, who will? He wanted to go back with Mr. Tu to collect some information about Crocodile. In the canteen shop, Nami looked confused and argued with Kang about something, causing Zoro to tilt his head. When Mr. Tu wakes up, I'm so sorry. You pirates who have never met each other saved the slave family. This kindness will never be forgotten by the slave family. In the store, Nami slapped the table and pointed at Mr. Tu, expressing strong dissatisfaction. This scene did not affect anyone else, and the joy on the deck continued. Ha, you saw it. It's exactly the same. It's scary. Luffy, laughed from outside. Transformation. Are you a ninja? ×3. Sansha was shocked. I'm not a ninja. I'm a transvestite who ate the mimicry fruit. As long as I touch anyone with my right hand, I can turn into their appearance, whether it's body shape or voice. Even inside. With that said, Vivi opened the corners of her clothes and showed them generously. Kang and Nami had initially reached an agreement, and when they were distracted looking at the deck, they were attracted by this scene. So white, so big, boom, boom, boom. That's enough. At this time, Vivi's angry voice came. Vivi is really awesome, why don't you just take a look? Wait, Nami, why are you looking at me so fiercely? I didn't do such a thing. In the end, Kang loaned 200,000 belly and reluctantly handed it to Nami. Chapter 98 The Way of the S**************. Get. Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper are still having fun with Von Clay. Three idiots paired with laughing and having fun. And Vivi saw a familiar face while playing. It seemed to activate her brain. Ha ha ha, my boat is here to pick me up. Mr. 2 jumped on the Pink Swan boat. Although our relationship was short-lived, friendship has nothing to do with time. Set sail. Yes, Mr. 2. The Pink Swan uses a turbo to increase the distance at an extremely fast speed. As the perverted laughter gradually faded away, Luffy and Usopp finally reacted. He is Mr. 2. After Mr. 2 left, Sanji arrived late because he was exhausted because he had gone to cook. What Mr. 2, did I miss something just now? Vivi clung to the side of the boat and was filled with self-blame. Nami once told her that if you stay on a straw hat boat for too long, people will become stupid. I didn't expect this to be true. Suddenly everyone thought of a ninja who could tread water. Kang. Go and catch Mr. 2. Mu is okay. An acceleration ninjutsu. When everyone started looking for Kang, Nami pulled Vivi and said, okay. Kang said he felt unwell and had already fallen asleep. Then I'll go see him. Chopper looked worried. Nami picked up Chopper and rubbed it for a while, then explained. No, Chopper. He's fine. Lying in the Nami canteen is Kang's shadow clone. With Kang's repeated assurances that the purpose was just to collect intelligence, and then loan 500,000 belly to Nami, this guy finally agreed to help hide it. Kang is active for 3 hours a day and is on standby the rest of the time. No password this time. The duration of Shadow Clone's conscious state is 3 days, and combat will greatly reduce the time. As for Kang's true body, he is already on Mr. 2's swan boat. Mr. 2's fast swan. With Nami here, Shadow Clone shouldn't be spoiled by Straw Hat behavior, right? If that thief Zoro knew about it, he would probably draw his sword again. Kang hid in the shadows and quietly observed the behavior of everyone on the ship. The S******** is invincible. The S******* is invincible. As expected, this boat was just as lively as the one on Melee. In addition to singing and dancing, it was Von Clay promoting the way of transvestites. The corner of Kang's mouth revealed the source of all evil for black people. Maybe shemales are a good breakthrough point. He began to recall the unforgettable images in his mind. Which image is suitable for this path? Kang suddenly remembered the guy who was still fresh in his memory and could not forget it. Maybe. That guy is good. With the closure of Sharingan, the way of the demon was completed. Kang jumped from the ship. At this time, Patty, the chef who was far away in Barati, East China Sea, had just finished beating up a group of pirates and was doing a skirt-raising ceremony for the guests. Suddenly, he felt a chill down his back for no reason. What's wrong, Patty? Zepp looked confused. Patty wiped his nose and muttered. It must be Sanji who dissed me. I don't know what happened to that guy. Zapu said with a dissatisfied look. It's been so long without a bounty. It's really embarrassing for me, Redfoot. It would be better if such an idiot died on the Grand Line. On the rocks not far from the fast swan. Ah, save Ming Ying. Save Ming Ying. I'm I can't swim. Come and save me. This is a stitched monster. He has the same bumpy figure as Ms. Valentine's Day, but has a face similar to that of Sanji's colleague Patty. He wears a short skirt and has thick leg hair on his lower body. On a rock, he kept waving his thick arms and twisting his body angrily, trying to attract someone's attention. An alert lookout from Mr. 2 instantly captured this scene and immediately reported to Von Clay. Mr. 2. Someone on the reef ahead seems to be asking for help. Von Clay took the telescope and immediately shed tears when he saw this man's appearance. This man is not wrong. He must be a fellow traveler who implements the ways of being a demon. Von Clay cried with tears streaming down his face. Since you are who chooses the strongest way like me. Why don't you save me quickly? Yes, Mr. 2 Mr. Von Clay. The younger brothers responded to the call and began to carry out rescue operations. After being rescued, Kang and Mr. 2 Von Clay looked at each other affectionately. The two moved forward, seemingly full of firm belief in every step. Xiaofeng lightly opened his red lips. Kang immediately responded. Invincible. Xiaofeng's flexible waist swayed slightly, and excitement flashed in his eyes. In this world, there are both men and women. But, is neither male nor female. Kang also danced smartly, with a mysterious smile on his lips. Faced with such an answer, Xiaofeng seemed to have found some clue. He emotionally crossed his hands into a flower shape and his eyes filled with tears. Xiaofeng. So S asterisk 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 E. Qi Kong. Invincible. S asterisk 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 E. Invincible. Qi Kong and Xiaofeng made a gesture of comparing their hearts and sang together. After several heart-to-heart conversations, Qi Kong and Xiaofeng looked at each other with tears in their eyes. Patty Big Wave. Qi Kang's pseudonym. Von Clay. This moment is like a desert dung beetle encountering the feces of an island-eating monster. Two people who would never have meet together. The two cherished each other, put their arms around each other, and danced the swan dance. Well, there are men and women in this world, but she-males are neither male nor female. So, the S asterisk 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 E is invincible, the S asterisk 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 E is invincible. Qi Kong quickly integrated into Xiaofeng's boat, not to mention that a little Dudiu enjoyed it. Qi Kong begged with tears in his eyes, Xiaofeng, I want to follow you to implement the way of being a demon and let the ignorant people in the world come out of the abyss of gender. From now on, wherever you go, I will go. Patty Dabo, okay, you can follow me from now on. Wherever I go, you will be there. Xiaofeng was also full of affection. If anyone said that Qi Kong had ulterior motives, Xiaofeng would be the first to disagree. He actually implemented the way of being a human being as perfectly as he did. If such a person has bad intentions towards him, it would be a blasphemy against the way of being a human being. Our current destination is Alabasta. Actually, I am. Soon, Feng Clay revealed all his information. In order to let the way of being a seductress blossom, he took Mr. Zero's pie and chose to join Baroque Studio. Qi Kong shook his head and insisted, it doesn't matter. Then I will be your partner Ms. Singles Day. Let's work hard for our dreams together. When Mr. Zero wins Alabasta, we will be ministers in the future, and we will implement the law of transvestites in Alabasta together. Road. Patty Big Bo. Von Clay. Xiaofeng burst into tears. To have such a close friend, Qi Kong interrupted Xiaofeng's words and gently covered his lips with his hand. No need to say more, Xiaofeng. S asterisk 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 E. Invincible. The friendship and belief between the two people reached a resonance at this moment, and the song of the demon was accompanied by the dance of the demon. A hymn praising the way of the demon resounded throughout their journey. Chapter 99 Lao Sha's Doubts. Alabasta, Rapeseed Flower. The Peppa Pig pirates are invading this place. A gust of sand swept across, and a cold and majestic man appeared in the center of the city. His image was like a sculpture carved in the wind and sand. It's the patron saint Crocodile. Hero Crocodile is really here. A cold male voice came. Quiet. Idiots, I'm just here to take the pirate's head. The face under the big back is sharp and angular, and a scar across the cheek adds a bit of iron-blooded temperament. The golden iron hook in his left hand shines with cold light, and the cigar in the corner of his mouth is filled with smoke. This person is none other than the once famous Sand Crocodile, Stop War 50-50, Desert King, and Sand Conspirator, Sand Crocodile. At this time, a woman who looked like a dancer was full of love. You are so handsome. Lord Crocodile, you can save us from danger every time. The crowd started to boil, and someone suggested, Lord Crocodile, you are the real hero and patron saint of our Alabasta. Perhaps, we can ask you to be the king. Lao Sha is enjoying this rhythm. However, this scene was interrupted by a shout, shut up. Cobra is our king. The interrupted man angrily accused, what's the use of Cobra? Without rain, our country will only have constant wars. Think about the rebels. If it weren't for Cobra's inaction, how could it have turned into so? At this moment, a piece of news interrupted the two sides of the dispute. Don't you know, the Kingdom Guard Captain Ikaram has just returned to Alabasta recently, saying that he has found the real cause of the drought in this land. Not only that, it is said that these Uranus troops have begun to contact the rebels. The king personally promised that this war will soon end. A sharp light flashed in the depths of Crocodile's eyes, as if there was some information that he had keenly captured. Why didn't the plot develop as Lao Sha expected? Because, Ikaram, Qi Kang's insertion gave Alabasta's story a twist. Ikaram came back early, and the first thing he did when he came back was to go back to the palace and reveal Baroque's conspiracy to Cobra. After Cobra learned the truth, he suddenly realized it. So, he immediately sent people to spread the news and stabilize the people. While gathering troops to prepare to attack Yudi, he also sent people to contact the rebel leader Kosha. It's a pity that my daughter and Ikaram are separated. Originally, the best candidate to contact the rebels was Vivi. During the rain feast, Crocodile's face was so gloomy that he could almost squeeze out water. He was filled with doubts. What went wrong? In the empty room, a meaningful voice suddenly sounded. What's wrong? The boss seems unhappy. Crocodile suddenly raised his head, his sharp eyes locked on Robin sitting on the sofa, and his tone was cold. Ms. All Sunday, don't you know why I'm angry? Robin, who was sitting on the chair, was not afraid at all and smiled half-heartedly. Does this mean that the plan will fail? Crocodile sneered. This is just a small episode. As long as the dancing fans issue is not resolved, this country will still be in turmoil and move towards chaos. It's just that I don't understand. At this time, a golden hook instantly appeared on Robin's neck, and Crocodile's words were bone-chilling. Nicole Robin, why did you betray me? Robin raised his chin slightly. Don't you trust me, Mr. Zero? Crocodile's tone was low, and every word was like ice breaking. For a person who is accustomed to betrayal, trust is just a luxury. People like you don't deserve anyone's trust. Don't try to be clever. You have forgotten who took the initiative to seek my cooperation in the first place. Robin remained silent. Crocodile let go of Robin and asked, "Aren't the unlucky duo back yet?" "Well, if you want to give an order, it seems that you can only go through the phone bug." "What should I say?" Robin's calm voice sounded. "Without the unlucky duo, there would be no eavesdropping proof, an efficient way of transmitting messages, command strip." Crocodile looked gloomy and issued a new order. "The Utopia plan is going to be advanced. Let all senior agents who are out there come back." Hearing this, Robin reminded. According to the tip, Marine White Hunter Smoker came to Alabasta inexplicably. What? Lao Sha looked confused. The world government clearly trusts me as a Shichibukai. What is he doing here? If it was this bad guy, Crocodile was a little annoyed. Smoker is different from other guys. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is a fool. Even if he is stupid, he is still a user of natural fruit abilities. He has strength but no brains. As a Marine, he is reckless. Lao Sha hates this kind of guy who can't communicate. The key is that the two of them are allies in a sense. After a moment of silence, Crocodile said, "I will handle Smoker's problem personally, just to test Marine's tone." Robin saw this and handed over another piece of information. "Boss, you may be interested in this information. It is said that the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates is also on this island." Crocodile stood up suddenly, his eyes like swords pointed straight at Robin. "Whitebeard." He gently scratched the scar on his face with the hook, and his voice showed fluctuations for the first time. Back then, he once challenged the 4 Emperors Whitebeard, and the Wushang sword wielded by that man using Zongyunchi lingered like a nightmare in him. Whitebeard's power made him intimidated. That defeat made Crocodile question his own strength for the first time. It is precisely because of this that he chose to seek more powerful power with the help of external forces. When he learned that Alabasta possessed the ancient weapon Pluton, he began an elaborate conspiracy. At this time, Crocodile was puzzled as to why Alabasta's situation was suddenly no longer under his control. His face was livid, and he spoke slowly. "Although I don't know Fire Fist Ace's purpose of coming here, he is still far behind that man." Nico Robin said with a faint smile. "So, do you really don't need to wait any longer? There are too many surprises. What if they discover your ultimate purpose?" Lao Sha smiled confidently. "A few days later, Alabasta is already in my hands. So what if it is discovered? At that time, I had already obtained Pluton's whereabouts. Who is still my opponent? Whether it's Fire Fist or Marine, if anyone dares to stop me this time, then go to hell." As soon as the words fell, Crocodile suddenly burst out with momentum, sweeping across the room like a violent storm. Robin felt unprecedented pressure and oppression. For the first time, Robin felt strange to the man in front of him. Crocodile raised his eyes and looked at Nicole Robin, warning revealed in his words. "What I'm really worried about is your partner. I can feel your desire for that thing. Don't let me down, Nicole Robin." After hearing this, Robin felt bitter in her heart. Maybe she was really seeking skin from a tiger this time, but she had never been so close to her dream. Son of the devil, give up the miserable pity in your heart. Chapter 100 Sea Cat, Unlucky Buggy. Great, Patty Dabo, I told the boss about you. He didn't agree or refuse, and asked me to take you to the Spider-Man Cafe to gather. There seems to be a new order. Xiao Feng happily delivered the news to Qi Kong with graceful ballet steps. At this time, Qi Kong was wearing a matching black swan tutu and stood side by side with Xiao Feng. The two looked like a pair of swans dancing together. Xiao Feng, implement our way of being as asterisk 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 e. Let them know how powerful they are without gender. S asterisk 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 e. Invincible. In this world, there are both men and women. Along with the passionate slogans, Xiao Feng and Qi Kong led a group of loyal brothers to dance gracefully. Off the coast of Alabasta, Qi Kong leisurely threw a fishing rod. His target was the sea cat, a large creature in the sea of Alabasta. Since Murkrow was left behind on the Mary, every piece of bait in his hands was extremely precious. Dabo, are you fishing? Do you want to play as asterisk 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 e dance? Xiao Feng suggested. Qi Kong casually said, Usopp, Xiao Feng. Wait until I finish fishing. I feel that my skills as as asterisk 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 e are about to be sublimated, and I am trying to see if I can influence the fish. Change the fish. Let the fish implement the way of being a human being. Have you already reached this state? Von Clay was full of surprise, patted Qi Kong on the shoulder, and sincerely praised. It seems that the exploration of the way of the demon will never end, and I am not alone. Qi Kong smiled and felt the movement of the fishing rod. The fishing of shemales transform yin and yang into chaos. Give it to me. As soon as Qi Kong put away his pole, he caught a smelly shoehorn. Xiao Feng and all the younger brothers, who were originally full of expectations, were instantly petrified, and the atmosphere was extremely embarrassing. Ahem. Someone, please change these women's shoes into unisex ones. The shoes can also be used as shemales. Yes, Ms. Singles Day. Although the younger brother was deeply moved, he couldn't help but be in awe of Lord Patty Bigbow's so-called way of being a human being. After catching a few rubbish, we approached the rapeseed flower market. Qi Kong took out a special bait and threw it solemnly into the sea. If it still doesn't work, I can only try my luck next time. Saint Usopp, the Werewolf Emperor, the Supreme Lord, Gigi's wishful command. Pray with Kang. Soon after, I felt the invitation to wrestle from the fishing rod. So damn useful. This feedback is very similar to when you moo, and it is most likely a sea cat. Here he comes. Xiao Feng, let him practice the way of being a human being. Xiao Feng and the other boys held their breath and waited curiously for how Kang would make animals understand the way of being a human being. Drop the fish and catch the 18 fish. The handsome guy comes down the mountain. As the huge sea cat fished out of the sea, it stood in front of the fast swan. This sea cat is smaller than Moo Moo, but it's still quite cute. Kang received 7 inches forced appointments, and was only 1 step away from Mangekyo. There were also 3 special fishing baits, which Kang put away solemnly. After coming back to his senses, Kang looked at Haimao. Baby below. Sensing the strange atmosphere, Yumimao took a step back in horror. What are you doing? Just catch me out. What are you looking at my little brother for? Stupid humans. Just as Yumimao was about to run away, a pair of strange eyes stared at it, and its pupil power, which was close to the limit of the 3 Magatama, was released. Where do you want to go? Come here. I signed it. Kang took out a scroll and said calmly. This is the contract for the way of beings and monsters, read it with me. From today on, you become a neutral sea cat. Meow. From today on, you must start implementing the ways of being e. Meow. Kang finished reading. If you agree, sign it. From now on, you will be a witness to the way of the demon. After saying that, Kang looked compassionate. Then Haimao was controlled by Kang, biting his palm open and taking a bloody palm. As long as Kang's blood is added in the future, Haimao's blood contract channeling will be completed. But now he has Mu. We'll talk about this later, save it for later. After everything is done, the play still needs to be completed. When Kang was about to sterilize the sea cat, a group of local boys stopped Kang. Master Dabo, please show mercy. The sea cat is a sacred and inviolable creature to us, the people of Alabasta. We cannot cut his little brother. Everyone finally knows how Kang wants to make animals practice the way of being a human being. You are not a human. This is not the orthodox way of being e. After releasing the sea cat's control, the sea cat queen immediately dived back into the sea, licked her paws, and touched the cold sweat on her forehead. What terrible humans. At the same time, on the western island of Alabasta, a warship discovered a red-nosed pirate ship. Hobody stood on the bow of the ship, saw clearly the pirate flag ahead through the telescope, turned around and reported to Tina with a Sanji look on his face. Colonel Tina, it's confirmed that they are the Buggy pirates who previously had a bounty of 16 million in the East China Sea. We don't know their purpose at the moment. Buggy from the East China Sea. Tina was a little confused. Did Smoker come to the Great Channel just for this guy? Then she did not hesitate and gave the firing order to the gunner on the ship, Shell. Roger that, Colonel. The Marines received the order and quickly loaded their weapons. Bang, bang, bang. Now that you've encountered it, you can't let it go. Tina stood on the bow of the boat, waving her hands and using her abilities at the same time. Black spear killing formation. The cannonballs carried black rods and shot toward Buggy's pirate ship. Oops, Captain Buggy. There's a marine attack, a pirate shouted. On the Buggy pirate ship, a banquet was still being held, and everyone watched Arita dance with squinting expressions. Seeing that all the idiots were deaf, the guy couldn't stand it anymore and resorted to his special move. Red nose. There's a marine attack. After hearing red nose, Buggy stood up. His face was gloomy at this moment, and the knife appeared in his hand. Very good, very good. You actually laughed at Lousy's nose. Before he finished speaking, a stray bullet burst into flames. Ah, I will come back. Buggy emitted black smoke and streaked across the sky like a shooting star. The crew members looked at each other, and after a moment of strange silence. Enemy attack. Where is Captain Buggy? The shells are coming. And the black rod. Black prison Tina. At this time, Arita took action, using the slippery fruit to deflect all the incoming attacks. Her face was full of disdain. You want to hit the perfect me with this kind of attack. Mochi and Kabaji looked at each other and hit it off. How about, let's change the captain. These words instantly aroused the echo of others. Beautiful Miss Arita, please lead us to break out. Arita. Therefore, Arita did her best to occupy the magpie's nest, and she ordered with high spirits. Boys, spare the island for a week and get rid of Marine. Yes, Captain Arita.